Chapter 1336. Playing chess is such fun, is it really just this left? Cyber Elf Alpha stared blankly at the last surviving Tianyuan. The nebula great whirlpool triggered by her had a power beyond her own calculations. Countless data surges had caused over 20 sets of planetary quantum computers to overheat and shut down, with more than a third of them issuing red alerts. Now her peak computing power was only 4,000 legend rank base units. If she overclocked further, more planetary quantum computer sets would overheat and shut down. Just the time to repair and replace parts would take weeks. But she still won. The current star map could no longer make moves. This was the most unbelievable and closest to the mysteries of Starry Sky Chess that Cyber Elf Alpha had experienced since entering the world of Starry Sky Chess. In the end, the only piece left on this star map was the initially unintended Tianyuan. Could it be that's why that guy always insists on taking Tianyuan first? Cyber Elf Alpha looked at the unmoving position of Tianyuan. The essence of Starry Sky Chess is to use chess pieces to harness the power of the star's paths. All other forms are just superficial, essentially simulating the rules of the stars. Similar to occupying areas like in the game of Go, the strategies formed from this are just basic strategies for beginners. Who needs fixed strategies? Not me. It was only now that Cyber Elf Alpha fully understood this and realized why, despite adjusting her algorithms countless times, she couldn't beat the Starry Sky Chess Master. This game was the most exhilarating she had ever played, and the one from which she learned the most. For the first time, she encountered something beyond the normal rules of Starry Sky Chess. It's not that it's beyond the rules, but rather that all the rules understood by past star chess players were incomplete, only a part of Starry Sky Chess. Just like the star collapse tactic used by the Starry Sky Chess Master. Like the great whirlpool chess pattern she had just learned. These tactics and patterns were non-existent in the past fixed strategies, but in fact, they are the correct way to play Starry Sky Chess. Using a star map as a game board and stars as game pieces to influence the trajectories of stars in Starry Sky Chess, there is no need at all for fixed rules like a fixed formula. The stronger a star chess player is, the less they can rely on fixed rules prepared for beginners. A truly powerful star chess player should be like a Starry Sky Chess Master, unable to predict the path and development of the game. Every second, the star map changes, requiring all related algorithms and deductions to be updated. This stage is much broader and more mysterious than Cyber Elf Alpha expected. In the entire Endless Gods domain, since the appearance of the Starry Sky chessboard, there might be only one person who truly knows how to play Starry Sky Chess. Therefore, when he appears, the Starry Sky chessboard will officially be open to everyone, because Endless Gods domain finally has someone who can control the Starry Sky chessboard. Before the Starry Sky chessboard, those who are not ranked are like preschoolers in terms of skill level. Ranked players are just starting their journey into elementary school by learning the basic rules of Starry Sky Chess. If you can play chess really well, people might think you're a top player, but actually, you might just be in late primary school. Someone like Cyber Elf Alpha, who has a very high ranking, can be considered to be at a high school level at best, thanks to Cyber Elf Alpha's unique advantage in extremely high calculation power from her Endless Gods domain. As for the Starry Sky Chess Master, they graduated a long time ago. The Nebula Great Whirlpool tactic that Cyber Elf Alpha has learned is like a high school student learning some knowledge that is usually taught in university. It's like seeing a blurry gate leading to a higher world. However, reaching that gate is still far away, based on the differences in knowledge each side possesses. The complexity of the problems for Cyber Elf Alpha is like a collection of many chaotic programs, requiring a small part of the calculations to overload all the quantum computers on different planets. But for Uneasy, it's just simple addition and subtraction. In this game, Uneasy actually only taught Cyber Elf Alpha two things. The first one is how to set up a trap in an unstable star map to lure the enemy in and then use the Nebula Great Whirlpool tactic to go down together. This tactic isn't something that can be used on all star maps, but it's a choice made by Uneasy after seeing this particular star map. It's one of the advanced knowledge in Starry Sky Chess. The second thing, let's go to Tianyuan. Although not all star maps are like this, Tianyuan is a very important point that can maintain stability even in a large nebula whirlpool. Cyber Elf Alpha, a good student who is humble in learning, handed in an outstanding answer sheet. Well, not so important, Saint Demon's goal has been exceeded. Do you like it? If you do, I can accompany you to play chess in the future. May the gods bless you, Alpha. Without too much embellishment, just a calm and peaceful smile, a subtle hint, completely captivated the curious cyber elf Alpha. Okay. Come with me. We play chess together every day. Cyber elf Alpha's views on good and evil are so pure. She finally found her opponent that can make her go all out again, and she must seize the opportunity. The elusive starry sky chess master, a cloud in the sky, is nowhere to be found, so she has to use the three-eyed holy maiden as a substitute. She had spent countless resources on this, causing more than a tenth of the planetary quantum computer array to shut down just to win a single move against a strong opponent. She can't wait to start the next game. She learned a lot from the previous one. If it wasn't for the Red Heart Queen's ball tonight, she would have made Saint Demon continue playing with her. Finding an opponent who can match her strength is crucial for Cyber Elf Alpha. Playing against opponents several levels lower than her is really boring. You are truly a good girl. Saint Demon held Cyber Elf Alpha's hand, his eyes filled with tenderness. Everything went according to plan. You too. The quantum crystal behind Cyber Elf Alpha glowed red and hot, a sign of extreme excitement. Finally, she met the right person. More precious than 100 portions of the legend rank delicacy, more important than building 10,000 planets of quantum computing arrays, was the miracle that belonged to her. Clumsy as a fawn, Cyber Elf Alpha was in a state of ecstasy. Snap! Under the stage, Flora smashed the plate in front of her, glaring angrily at Cyber Elf Alpha, who was holding hands with Saint Demon. Alpha, this isn't chess. Chapter 1337, a two-way strategy. Come on, let's review the game. Cyber Elf Alpha thought she had played a perfect game and excitedly grabbed the hand of the faceless god, inviting Saint Demon warmly. Saint Demon nodded. Saint Demon had plenty of experience dealing with beings of extraordinary intelligence who did not bother with worldly matters. Being a representative of this type herself, she was often chosen by the deities as a heavenly demon, easily becoming a holy maiden, priestess, or messenger of the gods. This nickname, Three-Eyed Holy Maiden, also came from this. How did you spot the issues in this star map? Is initiating a vortex in this area the best move? What is the principle behind this great whirlpool? Setting aside her cold and aloof electronic divine demeanor, the being was now just a curious and knowledge-thirsty girl eager to review with Saint Demon. The one who made Cyber Elf Alpha show this look was none other than Uneasy. Here, there were chaotic star patterns from the beginning. Following the order, next is here, and here. The destruction spread in 3 areas, eventually engulfing the entire star map. Standing behind Saint Demon, Uneasy explained the mysteries of this star map to Cyber Elf Alpha in the simplest way possible. Cyber Elf Alpha listened with great fascination, realizing how starry sky chess was played and how it could be played differently. Finally understanding why no matter how much computing power was increased, there was no chance of winning against the starry sky chess master. It's not just because the calculating power of the legend rank is not enough for the vast universe, but more importantly, she has not yet found the true way to discover and use the power of the stars. Uneasy was also happy, even though he borrowed Saint Demon's power to communicate with Cyber Elf Alpha. Playing chess truly made him happy, and playing with Cyber Elf Alpha, even intentionally losing to her, was very enjoyable. Great, just like that, watching the two people getting along so well, Saint Demon felt confident as their connection point. Everything is under control. There is no need to use the outdated seductive skills of the Enchantress. For Cyber Elf Alpha, an almost otherworldly electronic spirit, none of those enchantments work. The only thing that can touch her heart is the representation of infinite wisdom. Similarly, this is also the only way to move Saint Demon. Under Uneasy's guidance of Starry Sky Chess, it is not just Cyber Elf Alpha who is being strategized but also Saint Demon, who directly faces Cyber Elf Alpha. In a way, this could be considered a highly challenging dual strategy. I see. I made a mistake in my calculations from the beginning. Cyber Elf Alpha's fingers moved along with Saint Demon's, following a unique rhythm as they each placed their chess pieces. Every touch of their fingertips brought a new kind of satisfaction, a thrilling sense of excitement. Cyber Elf Alpha didn't know how to describe this feeling, something she only vaguely felt when playing against Starry Sky Chess Master, a cloud in the sky. A suffocating anxiety, uncertainty about the future, and the frustration of losing would overwhelm Cyber Elf Alpha every time she played against Starry Sky Chess Master. For Cyber Elf Alpha, it was always a challenging bet, risking everything, although she had lost all previous matches. Despite being mentally strong, losing constantly took a toll on Cyber Elf Alpha. To overcome this, she tirelessly worked on refining her strategies and building more planet quantum computer arrays. Everything was in pursuit of defeating the monstrous Starry Sky Chess Master. This goal remained unshaken for 10,000 years. However, even with plans to expand the mechanical god's domain and build 180,000 planet quantum computer arrays, Cyber Elf Alpha was unsure if she could beat Starry Sky Chess Master. The resources needed to operate 180,000 planet quantum computer arrays were unimaginable for ordinary people. Investing such massive computing power in Starry Sky Chess battles seemed like meaningless waste to others. Cyber Elf Alpha paid no attention to these concerns. Her only worry was whether building 180,000 planet quantum computer arrays would guarantee victory. No one could answer Cyber Elf Alpha's question. This was a field that only she ventured into. Now, Cyber Elf Alpha knew what she was missing. The three-eyed Holy Maiden used her unique and creative tactics to open a new door for Cyber Elf Alpha, revealing a world full of endless imagination. Holding Saint Demon's hand, Cyber Elf Alpha watched every move she made in the game with delight on her face. Initially copying the opening moves of the Starry Sky Chess Master Tianyuan, Cyber Elf Alpha's pieces were torn apart by the Great Whirlpool, putting her at a disadvantage. In the middle game, Cyber Elf Alpha started learning the tactics of the Great Whirlpool, feeling the power and trajectory of the stars in intense battles, gradually catching up with her opponent's pace. Finally mastering how to unleash the secret of the Nebula Great Whirlpool, but underestimating its power, Cyber Elf Alpha suffered a devastating blow to the entire star map. What was supposed to be a mutual destruction ended differently because of Tianyuan's unexpected move, winning by a single piece. The ups and downs of the unfolding story captivated Cyber Elf Alpha, making her blush and her heart race. Watching the final move as the Great Whirlpool destroyed everything, leaving only Tianyuan symbolizing hope, Cyber Elf Alpha closed her eyes and held Saint Demon's hand tightly. This is a miracle, it's fate. Saint Demon watched as Cyber Elf Alpha fell for Jiang Taigong's fishing bait willingly. Of course, she didn't tell her that this game was set up from start to finish, specifically targeting Cyber Elf Alpha's personality traits. However, now this strategy seemed to have a slight negative effect. Yunshi himself didn't realize the impact he had on Cyber Elf Alpha, the reigning queen of Starry Sky Chess in the Endless God's domain, as he calmly guided her moves in the game. Before Cyber Elf Alpha appeared, Saint Demon was a top-star chess player in the Endless God's domain and a regular on the Starry Sky chessboard. She couldn't comprehend Yunshi's mastery of the Starry Sky chess like Cyber Elf Alpha did, but even understanding just a part of it broadened Saint Demon's horizons. This is a person favored by the stars, standing at the pinnacle of wisdom in the Endless God's domain. Cyber Elf Alpha was intoxicated, unable to resist falling deeper. Even Saint Demon, who guided Yunshi's moves in the game, couldn't escape being captivated by the world's only Starry Sky Chess Master. On the stage of the noble ladies, there was a feeling of love in the air among the young girls. Chapter 1338, Asura and Battle God in the Void. As 12 nightmare sovereigns watched the two holding hands, they all doubted their own eyes. Can this be possible? Gordola, you are in the third stage of Starry Sky Chess. Have you noticed anything? I can't understand, the gap in skill level is too big. What kind of monster did Ada bring over? At that moment, no nightmare sovereign dared to underestimate the seemingly expressionless faceless god. Even Ouroboros aside, Cyber Elf Alpha could possess the potential of a creator-level new electronic deity, a unique legend rank that the entire Endless God's domain is watching closely. In this game of Starry Sky Chess, the prince brought by Ada unexpectedly played evenly with the tyrant Cyber Elf Alpha on the Starry Sky chessboard, and eventually lost by just one move. You see, among the 12 Nightmare Sovereigns here, more than half of them haven't even completed their level advancement yet. Understanding the power of stars is not something common in the nightmare world, which symbolizes negative creatures with intelligence. Be with me. Taking advantage of Cyber Elf Alpha's focus on guiding the game, Saint Demon made a move. It doesn't need to be grand or involve any gifts. Winning over Cyber Elf Alpha is that simple. If you play chess, she will like you. Well, of course, you need to show exceptional chess skills that can impress her first. Throughout Endless God's domain, there is only one person who can do this. Okay, let's go back to Mechanical God's domain now. Holding Saint Demon's hand, Cyber Elf Alpha, full of excitement, had long forgotten that this was the stage of the Red Heart Queen's masquerade. Saint Demon shrugged his shoulders. The strategy is complete, Master. With a flash of light, Cyber Elf Alpha's bewildered expression vanished on the stage. The second round challenge for the Prince, the strategy against Cyber Elf Alpha, concluded. Alpha, is playing chess fun? Flora asked with a displeased expression, looking at Cyber Elf Alpha who still seemed lost in thought. Of course, Starry Sky chess is the greatest mystery in this world. Cyber Elf Alpha realized that she was still at the Red Heart Queen's party. Is the senior's chess skill impressive? Flora looked around, not thinking Cyber Elf Alpha was the type to deceive. Rather, this was a dangerously innocent the legend rank, it seemed impossible for her to deceive anyone. Very strong, probably not beneath me. The more she reflected on the last game, the more she felt. Cyber Elf Alpha watched the resting faceless god on the stage with a focused look, eager to start the next game immediately. A true master indeed, even in a game of chess. Flora wrote Cyber Elf Alpha's name in her little notebook, ready for future reference. The battle continues. As the pillar of light descended, the third chosen princess was revealed, Cassina the battle god. Cassina, it's your turn now. Don't be too hard on them. Ouroboros, who knew her dear friend well, lazily lay on her seat, trying to soften Uneasy's stance. No problem, I will cooperate. Cassina the battle god shrugged her shoulders and stepped onto the stage. The river of time flowed from the edge of the world. This was the domain of Cassina the battle god, the world of the sand of time. In the vast desert, the faceless god stood in the center of the world, awaiting the arrival of Cassina the battle god from above. This time, it's up to you. Uneasy chose the heavenly demon, the most unfamiliar to him, without hesitation, despite all the charms and stories. Facing the monstrous creatures born from bloodshed, battlefields, killing, and death, the Asura. Hey! You made the right choice. She has the scent I like. On the face of the faceless god, the cold expressionless face, the corners of the mouth gradually opened, revealing a creepy and chilling evil smile. In the void, all 12 Nightmare Sovereigns simultaneously felt something, casting their gaze together towards the desert. What is this scent? It's completely different from before. Yes, this is the smell of blood and fire. Wow, this Prince Ada found has such amazing talent. Even Cassina the battle god was a bit surprised. She recognized this energy. In the past Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts tournament, she once faced an opponent with this kind of energy, one of the top 5 enemies she encountered on the tournament stage. That enemy practiced a terrifying martial art called the 8-sided demon god road, growing 3 heads and 6 arms, using completely non-human-like terrifying skills, resembling a demon descended. Cassina, the undefeated battle god. Asura licked his lips and moved the hands and feet of the faceless god. Everything is fine here, and there, the overall structure is excellent. Looking at the possessed body, this body is close to perfection. Although it is a bit regrettable without any special abilities added, this divine vessel's body itself is the greatest treasure. Asura is the most formidable group among the heavenly demons and has the highest combat talent among the heavenly demons. Every Asura is a monster with exceptional talent. Even Impermanent does not surpass Asura in combat talent, but merely possesses Asura's exceptional talent. Parfu strengthen. The Asura who took over the body of the faceless god adept activated Parfu's burst mode. The brand new Parfu subtype has better immunity than before, coupled with Elphilis's eternal ice coffin as a cooling device, prolonging the faceless god's full combat time by more than 3 times. The current faceless god can enter full serious mode within 15 minutes. For Asura, this is enough. With Cassina the battle god, there is no need for love talk. Cassina the battle god prefers the strong, the more powerful the better. Uneasy was taken in as a disciple by Cassina the battle god, hoping for his future growth to surpass that of Cassina the battle god and be able to fight at full strength with him. Just like Cassina the battle god Asura, Asura is also extreme in his ways and believes in achieving goals through killing. It doesn't matter where we are, having a perfect body feels amazing, hasn't happened in a long time. Cassina, long time no see. Last time, I only used the talent of the 8 directions in my body. This time, I'll show you the power of the 10-sided demon god road. Asura's mouth slowly curved into a smile, a face that didn't belong to the faceless god, but symbolized killing and death as the heavenly demon. Yet, before every battle, Asura would smile. This was the beginning of Asura's moment, the start of a bloody and violent storm. Chapter 1339, 10-sided demon god road. Asura has unique standards for the body he chooses. Humans who transform into Asuras often carry deep grudges, some even emerging as monsters from the piles of dead in battle. They lose everything and suffer the world's injustices, swearing to seek revenge at any cost and make their enemies pay. Some exceptional ones attract Asura's attention and are chosen by the heavenly demon to become killing monsters in the mortal realm. They kill all their enemies, using their blood and corpses to fulfill the heavenly demon's purpose. These monsters, completely consumed by revenge and devoid of human emotions, become Asuras, evil spirits of vengeance capable of unimaginable carnage. Only a few can harness the power of Asura while suppressing their killing intent, transforming it into strength to break the boundaries between heroes and legends, embracing the path of Asura. Known as the Killing Princess, formerly ranked 3rd among the Great Sword Maids, she perfectly harnesses the power of Asura, even amidst mountains of corpses, managing to refrain from harming her own kind. Her exceptional talent drew the attention of her, leading to an unbelievable transformation at the moment of death, becoming impermanent. The Asuras refer to such talents ideal for becoming Asuras as squares. The Asura that Cassina the battle god once encountered on the 8-sided demon god road is now forming a contract with Uneasy. The combined body of the faceless god and Uneasy is even more outstanding than when Asura met Cassina the battle god last time, making it a suitable vessel for the 10-sided demon god road. For the warlike Asura, this is truly a rare opportunity that comes once in a millennium. Have we met before? As Cassina the battle god sensed the battle spirit emanating from Asura, she too became excited. This is the intuition of a battle god when facing a rare opponent worth taking seriously. No. This is our first meeting. Asura did not lie, this is indeed their first encounter with the body of the 10-sided demon god road and Cassina the battle god. Last time, Asura unfortunately lost to Cassina the battle god and was even killed by her as Asura's power went out of control. But Asura was very satisfied. Dying on the battlefield is Asura's destiny. The enchantress died because of her beauty attracting trouble. Saint Demon died because fate needed it, and he directed his own ending. Asura died in battle, with each kill adding to the toll. The fate of heavenly demon is death, without exception. This is a strange phenomenon born from worldly emotions and thoughts, destined to be born and die by fate, transcending above the mundane world. So, do we fight? From Asura, Cassina the battle god also sensed a familiar scent. Full of malice, a very pure smell of slaughter, as if bearing the rusted smell of countless battlefields. Ah, of course, this is romantic. Isn't it, Cassina the battle god? Asura took a deep breath, then stepped forward with his right foot. All the mechanisms and circuits of the god without a face were activated in this step, entering a state of super high overload. Roar. A roar that made the whole desert tremble, shaking the gravel underfoot into countless powders, spreading out. The roar of Asura, the power of the contained vibration even spread out to tens of kilometers, forming the embryonic form of a huge vortex. At the same time as this roar, A red blood light appeared on the body of the god without a face. That was the domineering power unique to Asura, a world that Uneasy had not yet touched, and one of the bloodiest and most terrifying mysteries in the inheritance of the great sword made the killing princess. The silver-white god without a face, covered in bloodlight, exuded an extremely fierce aura. Half of the 12 nightmare sovereigns in the void were shining with their eyes on this kind of god without a face. Just like how the gods like to choose fables as their messengers on earth, Asura, who carries the fate of slaughter and blood, is also an old god that the nightmare sovereigns like. The faceless god embodying Asura's form is quite appealing to many nightmare sovereigns. Very good, very good. I underestimated Ada. This prince she brought this time is not just an ordinary legend rank. It's been a while since I've felt this kind of killing intent. Boom. A huge column of sand surged into the sky, transforming into an incredibly majestic whale silhouette, crashing down heavily. This is one of Cassina the battle god's ultimate skills, sand whale collapsing, a destructive blow struck with the power of the endless desert. In the midst of swirling bloodlight, a fist as sharp as a blade shot up from the ground, fearlessly meeting the sand whale blast of Cassina the battle god. Though not a weapon in itself, this blood-red fist struck with a force that tore through the sky, a characteristic of the Asura's 10-sided demon god style. Asura didn't need other original god weapons, for Asura's own body was the best weapon, a tool for killing. The faceless god, capable of bearing the power of the 10-sided demon god road, was the perfect weapon for Asura. The sand whale roared. The blood blade split the sky. The battle was intense from the very beginning. Even on the stage of the battle god's grand martial arts tournament, this was a match nearing the finals. Even Uneasy discovered for the first time that once the Asura among the 4 heavenly demons obtained the body of the faceless god, they could unleash such terrifying power. The Paranirmita Vasavartin scroll, can it really be used in this way? It is amazing how the scriptures of Buddhism can bring true destiny. He felt a deep connection to the White Lotus Sword Palace, owing a huge favor to the mysterious light ball in the secret room. We have fought before. Cassina the battle god landed gracefully on the ground, almost certain that he had faced this opponent before. Not just once, but multiple times, the intense pressure and killing intent were not something an ordinary legend rank could possess. There were indeed a few ruthless individuals who mastered this unique fighting technique. Their most striking feature was pulling out their limbs from within their bodies to use as weapons in combat. I have fought opponents similar to you before, but I am stronger than them. For Asura, each incarnation brought a new life experience. The Asura who had battled Cassina the battle god in the past, had reached the end of her life journey. Even though the current Asura still held memories of fighting Cassina the battle god, she was not the same Asura as before. The legacy of Asura was ruthless and cruel, only through endless slaughter could one achieve the ultimate power of the heavenly demon. The symbol of the supreme status of the heavenly demon, impermanent, derives her combat talent from the Asura lineage. The enchanting power of the enchantress. The wisdom of Saint Demon. Asura's talent in battles. The combination of the three, along with the elusive fate, creates impermanent. Chapter 1340, Battle God's Dance, Part 1, indeed stronger than before. Cassina the battle god flexed her wrist. The killing intent released from the blood-red blade in the recent clash was the strongest encountered so far. When facing opponents similar to martial artists, their bodies covered in intense bloodlight, they tended to lose some of their senses. Their bodies couldn't fully withstand Asura's demon god martial art, gradually losing their nature in the midst of killing. Like the killing princess, the more she kills, the calmer she gets, and in the end, she can control her violent tendencies, which is extremely rare. Asura, who made a contract with Uneasy, had encountered the best body so far, but it only reached the level of the 8-sided demon god road. In Asura's criteria for choosing a body, the lowest line is one end, below this line you cannot descend, and above 6 sides is the excellent line, where you can unleash more than half of your power. The 10-sided demon god road is where Asura's power can be fully unleashed, and it is the embodiment that all Asuras like to descend in. The difference between 8 sides and 10 sides is not just 20%. When it comes to battles at the legend rank level, even the slightest 1% difference will be greatly magnified. Then, try this. Cassina the battle god reached out his right hand, then clenched his 5 fingers, assuming a stance familiar to Uneasy. Like a slingshot poised to its limit, Cassina the battle god's fingers flicked out, compressing the air into a visible air projectile. Finger thunder, a technique that can only be unleashed between the fingers of one whose body has transcended the level of mere physicality, the power is enough to blast through mountains. Asura also assumed the same stance as Cassina the battle god, but instead of an air projectile, Asura unleashed streams of blood-colored spiritual light. Bloodshot sword, a proud long-distance sniping technique of Asura, turning his own blood into weapon projectiles. The energy balls and flashes of blood met in the air, exploding continuously. Cassina the battle god's finger thunder has the ability to pierce through. Asura's bloodshot sword has the ability to explode. The large bursts of bloodlight were the result of Asura's bloodshot sword exploding. Indeed, she's experienced. Cassina the battle god was familiar with this style of combat, as few opponents in the battle god's grand martial arts tournament had left such a deep impression on her. The opponent wrapped in this blood-colored flame was very skilled at using a part of her body as a weapon. They didn't need a god weapon, they only used their bodies as weapons. Their blood, hair, and bones were all part of their weapons. It wasn't a solid body, nor a soft body, but a more ferocious form. As long as the blood-colored flame on their bodies didn't extinguish, they could fight endlessly. To defeat them, the only way is to completely scatter the crimson flames on their bodies. Their attack and defense might not be the best, but their endurance and fighting spirit have reached an unbelievable level. As long as they are conscious, they will never stop fighting, and the more they are hurt, the stronger they become. Relying on their almost indestructible bodies, those with this trait have even made it into the top 8 of the Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts Tournament. Well, then they unluckily met Cassina the Battle God. The power of the 10 directions is really useful. Asura competed evenly with Cassina the Battle God's finger thunder, feeling very satisfied with the body of the faceless god. The difference between the 10 directions and the 8 directions is not just a 20% increase in power, but more importantly, it's the flawless synchronization. Only with this 100% perfect synchronization can the power of the demon god martial art be fully unleashed. The demon god martial art, refined through endless killings, is the top extraordinary martial art in the endless god's domain, possessing the characteristic of getting stronger with each battle. The stronger the opponent, the more powerful demon god martial art will become. Fighting with Cassina the battle god in the past greatly inspired the Asura tribe's martial arts heritage. This time, the Asura who formed a contract with Uneasy, for the first time, luckily could fully use the 10-sided demon god road and fight with their opponents in the Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts Tournament with all their strength. Even though the time was short, only 15 minutes, it was enough. Hey! Asura opened their hands, then slowly closed them, feeling every nerve and detail of the faceless god transmitting to Asura's heart. Warm-up ends here. Cassina the battle god, who had initially just come to observe, became very interested in the Asura in front of them. Asura, who stepped onto the 10-sided demon god road, field, displayed potential that excited them. They could fight seriously now. For Cassina the battle god, this was a rare worthy opponent. Agreed. Asura put their hands together, smiling mysteriously, showing a compassionate attitude like a butcher turning into a Buddha in an instant. Of course, this is fake. Asura is a bloodthirsty demon, the fiercest and most crazy creature among the heavenly demons. He always refrains from using his power, but once he strikes, he will unleash unstoppable killing. As blood splattered, Asura made the first move. Fine bloodlines tore through the sky. Those were longer and more concentrated blood blade attacks than the bloodshot sword used in the previous clash. With blood as his sword and bones as his blade, Asura himself is a terrifying killing weapon, and on the battlefield, this bloodshot sword can not only tear through enemy bodies but also absorb their blood to replenish his energy. The more fiercely he fights, the stronger he becomes. This is Asura's characteristic on the battlefield. Numerical advantage means nothing to Asura. The bloodshot sword allows him to absorb enemy blood to replenish his energy during times when he is not yet powerful enough. Of course, a legendary Asura does not need to use the Bloodshaw sword to replenish his energy. The 10-sided demon god road itself can provide Asura with almost limitless stamina. If it weren't for the restrictions of the Parfu system, Asura could have battled Faceless God's body and Cassina the battle god for 7 days and 7 nights. The last time Asura, who had achieved the full power of the 8-sided demon god road, fought against Cassina the battle god, they battled from morning till dusk before being defeated. Cassina the battle god changed her fighting style, striking the sharp blood blade with her palm. Like transparent ripples spreading out, wave after wave of ripples rippled on the blood blade, tearing through the atmosphere. Asura's blood blade, a god weapon level weapon, shattered into pieces in these waves of ripples. Cassina the battle god used a special move called the soft water palm, which was specifically designed to destroy god weapons, to make opponents with powerful god weapons in the Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts Tournament resentful. During the initial stages of evolution, when the fusion of flexibility and strength was not yet completed, Cassina the battle god used this technique the most. A gentle approach can break through any defense invisibly. Chapter 1341, Battle God's Dance, Part 2. Compared to Yunshi, who is still in the early stage of practicing soft water palm, Cassina the battle god's soft water palm has reached a level where a single palm strike can even destroy Asura's bloodline god weapon. In a way, Cassina the battle god is a more terrifying creature than Asura. The invisible shockwaves are at a frequency that the human body cannot withstand. Within the seemingly gentle palm lies a tremendously frightening power. After shattering the Bloodshaw sword with one palm strike, Cassina the battle god instantly disappeared from the original spot. Here it comes. Yunshi couldn't even see how Cassina the battle god rushed in front of him, while Asura had already reacted. Clenching his fists tightly, bloodlight dancing, facing the empty space in front of him, Asura suddenly unleashed a barrage of 999 punches. Surrounded by blood-colored flames, the fists produced deafening explosions in the air. This was a move that Yunshi didn't need to think about now, capable of breaking through the earth's crust with Asura's continuous blood fists. Amidst the endless bloodlight, all 999 punches landed on a rapidly moving object, then were counterattacked by some unseen strike. Yunshi opened his eyes wide, trying to see clearly the attacks and defenses of both sides. It was impossible. This was a battle that went far beyond his consciousness and reflex limits. Whether it was Asura or Cassina the battle god, their attacks and defenses were beyond Yunshi's understanding. His mental strength as a hero-ranked baker could not handle the intensity of this battle. The afterimages that Yunshi could see, Asura's 999 punches, Cassina the battle god's kicks, were all results that he only recognized a second later. If he wasn't in sync with Asura, he wouldn't even know how many punches Asura threw or what techniques were used. As for Cassina the battle god across from him, Yunshi couldn't even see her shadow. Punch, kick, shoulder charge, elbow strike, headbutt. Between the sky and the earth, a series of loud noises rang out. Both sides were moving and attacking at high speed, leaving a trail of afterimages in the air due to the fast pace. Every time, the slow-to-react Yunshi thought he was about to be struck by the attacks of his teacher, Cassina the battle god. He couldn't even see how his teacher launched the attacks. It was an attack launched by the battle god of legend rank at a speed that the eyes couldn't react to. Trying to respond to such attacks by using the 5 senses to perceive and then react was too late. Before you see or hear the attack from Cassina the battle god, you're already defeated by Cassina the battle god. Intuition. The ability honed through countless battles, and the spontaneous formation of a field, after experiencing the terror of life and death numerous times. An eye for an eye. A tooth for a tooth. A fist for a fist. Asura took on all the attacks from Cassina the battle god, showcasing the full power of the Shura clan's demon god martial arts with the perfect qualifications of the 10-sided demon god road. In the past, when fighting Cassina the battle god, as soon as Cassina the battle god entered serious mode and unleashed these super-fast attacks that surpassed Asura's reflex limits, even the mighty Asura could not avoid getting hit. Being able to block 70% of Cassina the battle god's attacks is the upper limit of the 8-sided demon god road. The remaining 30% of the attacks can only be endured by Asura's body. Even with Asura's indestructible body, he often found himself nearly overwhelmed by Cassina the battle god's relentless strikes. Where am I? Who am I fighting against? How long have I been beaten? This is a question that all players who battle Cassina the battle god at the legend rank will encounter. Most people can't even withstand one of Cassina the battle god's fast attacks and will start questioning life within 10 seconds, and then end up defeated. The Shura clan's demon god martial art can counter Cassina the battle god's fast attacks. The problem is that the vessel possessed by Asura cannot fully unleash the power of the demon god martial art, so in the past, everyone who encountered Cassina the battle god ended up losing without exception. This time, Asura contracted with she can finally stand tall and fight Cassina the battle god with full power. Left side. Right side. This time, it's a heavy punch. A kick is coming from below. The blood blade flashes, and again, it can be said that the fists and feet of endless god's domain continuously intertwine with Cassina the battle god. Again and again, the weapon shattered, broke, and turned into a god weapon used by the legend rank. Probably more than 10 of them have been wasted by now. Normal level god weapons simply couldn't withstand the punches and kicks of Cassina the battle god, like a fierce storm. Only Asura's demon god martial art, which can transform parts of the body into god weapons for combat, could endure such damage. Every time Cassina the battle god destroyed the Bloodshot sword, another one would immediately form. 3 minutes is the highest record of Asura not being injured by Cassina the battle god's attacks, a miracle of the 10-sided demon god road. But this is also the limit. The terrifying thing about the soft water palm is not just its ability to silently destroy the opponent's god weapon, but also the deadly damage caused by the water waves spreading around, even if the opponent is not directly hit. This damage caused a big loss to the Parfu system inside the faceless god. The Paphos with high temperature and cold resistance once again suffered a widespread death event. One by one, the Parfu dissolved into a puddle of mud under the invisible influence of Cassina the battle god soft water palm, ending their mission. Oh no. Uneasy was shocked to discover this. Things were not looking good. Without the support of the Parfu system, the faceless god was unable to move. Asura also noticed this. In just a moment of distraction, the faceless god was kicked by Cassina the battle god and instantly crashed into the ground. The continuous high-speed attacks determined the victor in that moment. Deep in the desert. I forgot about this weakness. Asura wiped the sand from his eyes and looked at the current status of the Parfu system inside the faceless god. The situation was very grim. Cassina the battle god's attack completely broke through Asura's blood veil defense, directly harming the internal Parfu subbody of the faceless god. More than a third of the Parfu warriors were seriously injured, 1/10 of them died completely, and the rest were also not in good shape. It can be said that they were completely defeated by Cassina the battle god in an instant. It's really unsatisfying. I only fought for a few minutes. Asura felt somewhat troubled. He had finally obtained a body that could use the demon god martial art, but it was immediately exploited by Cassina the battle god, showing weaknesses. Would he have to repeat his past failures next? It was such a waste to obtain the body of the 10-sided demon god road. Asura pondered for a moment. Asura decided not to waste this opportunity and continue fighting. Asura started to activate the secret technique of the demon god martial art, his fighting power increasing, at the cost of deactivating the shield mode. Master, are you afraid of pain? Chapter 1342, Battle God's Dance, Part 3, Is Uneasy afraid of pain? Of course, no one likes pain. Humans naturally fear pain as a survival instinct. Memories passed down in our blood tell us what we can endure and what we should never touch. Just like how animals instinctively avoid fire, pain helps humans stay away from danger to protect their lives. Getting burned by fire hurts. Getting killed means dying. In the dark forest, Uneasy faced the terror of a green-skinned hippo for the first time. Being stepped on, torn apart, crushed, each death taught Uneasy the true struggle between life and death. One wrong step, 1 second too late, could lead to death. Only by the bonfire could Uneasy feel the happiness of still being alive. If it weren't for the breathing techniques taught by Hua and the green-skinned hippo's behavior pattern he learned from facing death multiple times, just the first obstacle in the dark forest could make Uneasy struggle for the rest of his life. Translated by Gravity Tales. Unlike others, who don't have the privilege of a free bonfire resurrection, even a top-tier third-level warrior facing a green-skinned hippo for the first time is facing certain death, without a chance for a second try. It's okay, give it your all. Uneasy took a deep breath. Battle was Asura's specialty, and her judgments were always right. Uneasy chose to trust Asura, bracing himself for the pain. Well, now it's time to release your shield, it's going to hurt a lot. Asura lacked experience fighting alongside Uneasy and wasn't sure about his endurance. In the past, the bodies Asura inhabited were those who had lost everything, on the brink of losing their sanity. Such bodies could no longer feel pain even if pierced by swords. The most extreme case was one who seemed to be pierced by 1,000 arrows through the heart, yet remained standing. What sustained them was an incredibly strong will, a burning desire for revenge. Only bodies like these were suitable for Asura's presence. However, losing the ability to feel pain wasn't entirely a good thing. Some of Asura's secret techniques can only be used by experiencing pain and facing great challenges. Only by truly feeling pain can one unleash stronger power. The closer to death, the more tortured, the more violent the burning power in the blood. This is Asura, a natural-born warrior. The talent of the 10-sided demon god road can fully convey this pain. Master is coming. To catch a tiger's cub, one must enter its lair. Disaster of bloodlight, wrath of the heavens. Asura, demonic body. Beneath the desert, streaks of bloodlight roam in the sand, as if a huge beast is raging deep underground, roaring. Has it begun? Casina, the battle god, stood at the top of the sand dune, watching the boiling sea of sand. Having clashed with the Shura clan multiple times, she recognized that stance, sacrificing some of her human form to gain surpassing strength in battle. Her fighting style almost abandoned all defense, as if she had completely unleashed her power. That was the posture of the four-armed Asura, the shadow of a demon worshipped by countless primitive tribes. In addition to human hands, the Asura in this mode would grow another pair of arms, doubling the number of blood blades that they could control, with a fully autonomous attacking consciousness. The entire sea of sand was boiling, the blood-red disaster flowing through the desert like ignited blood, burning, turning the whole sand sea into this glaring crimson color. Asura Hell, this was the grand entrance of the four-armed Asura. The world ablaze was the proclamation of the demon descending. Roaring with even more killing intent than before, the Asura burst out of the ground, sent flying by Casina the battle god, from where the faceless god emerged. Not the four-armed one? Casina the battle god looked somewhat surprised at the faceless god completed with demon body. The faceless god wrapped in blood light suddenly grew two pairs of bloody arms. This is a six-armed Asura that Casina the battle god has never encountered before, a demonic body that only an Asura who has reached the realm of the 10-sided demon god road can cultivate. Very good, master. You are excellent. Asura was very pleased with Uneasy's performance. Growing 4 extra arms from his own body, this was not something created by the faceless god, but flesh and blood incarnations torn directly from Uneasy's body. The pain was as intense as an amputation, tearing off one's own limbs, and then twisting and grafting them onto the trunk. Moreover, this was not a one-time torment. As long as maintaining the appearance of the six-armed Asura, one must continuously endure such pain, like being punished in hell. In comparison, the pain of being pierced through the heart with a sword, or having one's head blown off, is temporary. The sensation is lost within minutes, but maintaining the six-armed demon stance requires enduring this kind of pain constantly. Thus, Asura would ask Uneasy before using this move whether he was afraid of pain. For a normal human, maintaining this state for 1 minute would lead to blurred consciousness, excessive blood loss, and approaching the brink of death. Only those with strong willpower and endurance, or who have experienced this level of pain more than once, can afford the cost of this secret technique. Uneasy was speechless, his mind completely consumed by endless pain, as if he had returned to the time he faced the green-skinned hippo in the dark forest. However, this time there was no bonfire checkpoint, He could only rely on his consciousness to resist this seemingly endless agony. Yes, that's it, embrace the pain, overcome the fear. Fight. Master with me. Asura was completely satisfied with Yunshi's performance, not only for his potential in the 10-sided demon god road, but also for his ability to endure and embrace pain. Asura desired a vessel like this. Amidst bloodshed and slaughter, the indestructible body is achieved. There is nothing left to fear. To conquer death, you have to overcome the fear of it. Amazing skill, activate. The 10-sided demon god road 6-armed demon appears. With blood-red battle marks on the forehead spreading, Asura leaped up, wielding 6 blood blades in its 6 arms, launching a counterattack against the mighty Kasina the battle god. Not even the countless gods and Buddhas can suppress the wrath of Asura. Ada. Asura's 100 Ghosts attack, unleash. This time, the attack is coming from this side, Kasina the battle god. The sword blade storm tearing through the heavens instantly covers the entire desert sea in billions of red lines. This move is powerful enough to shatter a part of God's domain and make the world mourn. Watching the countless blood blades that seemed to distort even the light, Kasina the battle god smiled slightly. His palm facing down, gently lifted up, fingertips pointing to the sky, then dropped down, facing the sky full of blood swords with the palm of his hand. Spin, jump. That is, battle god's dance. Chapter 1343, Shura breaking fist like scooping the moon out of the water, plucking stars from the sky. The soft and nimble palm, as if playing the strings of the world, performing an incredibly beautiful melody. At the Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts Tournament, this dance-like posture has defeated countless who thought they could win against Kasina the battle god of the legend rank. The graceful dance known as Battle God's Dance, pursued by all the dancers in endless God's domain. Even the million blood blades that can tear the world apart turned into a magnificent background before Battle God's Dance. Each blood blade grasped by delicate hands, then gently shaken, flicked, and turned into countless pieces. Asura let out a thunderous roar, with 2 pairs of Asura battle arms forming different seals simultaneously, giving off a moment of solemnity and dignity. In the midst of his torment, Yunshi, in a daze, caught a glimpse of shadows belonging to the Buddhist sect. If I don't go to hell, who will? The body of the faceless god tensed violently, the surrounding bloodlight contracted in one breath, merging into the body of the faceless god. Just after having suffered great injuries, the Parfu's bodies absorbed the bloodthirsty power of Asura, rapidly multiplying like they were revitalized, dividing, and replenishing the parts that were killed by soft water palm. The characteristic of Parfu, to devour and assimilate different elemental powers, gaining corresponding resistance abilities, was fully displayed at this moment. Even though Kasina the battle god's soft water palm has an unstoppable penetrating power, after taking a big hit, the Parfu bodies also developed corresponding resistance. This is Parfu's growth power, combined with Asura's strength, and Yunshi is now completely integrated. Those bloodthirsty powers that drive people crazy with just a touch also became a part of Parfu. After pushing his state to the limit, Asura finally unleashed the strongest punch ever seen, even surpassing Kasina the battle god. Asura. Boundary-breaking fist. In that moment, Asura seemed to transform into a towering giant, exuding an aura of invincibility and unwavering determination. With that punch, all the blood blades around and the shattered blood blade fragments were absorbed. In the depths of consciousness, it seemed that Buddhist monks were sensing Asura's descent and reciting Buddhist scriptures. Great compassion reaching ultimate bliss. Asura with 6 arms, when delivering this punch, seemed as if trying to shatter the entire world with a single blow, unstoppable. This punch truly possesses the power to completely shatter a world, combining countless blood blades and the Asura's original intention of breaking boundaries, intended to smash all obstacles and achieve the true self. Great. Kasina the battle god joyfully watched this earth-shattering punch. This is definitely a punch that can bring pressure to Kasina the battle god, not just because of its power, but more importantly, the spirit and courage it contains. The killing intent of Asura, along with a certain mood that resonates with the hearts of Buddhist monks, gives this punch a power similar to the law of causality. When this punch is thrown, it will inevitably hit the opponent. When this punch hits the opponent, it will surely unleash more than 100% of its power. Any defensive god weapon cannot withstand the power of this punch. Even if a world stands in the way of this punch, it will be blasted open by it. The qualifications of the 10-sided demon god road, the divine curse nature of the 6-armed demon incarnation, have allowed Asura to transcend the limitations of the heavenly demon race, manifesting characteristics similar to the supreme supernatural powers of the Buddhist sect. Stop the killing. I'll guide you to the pure land. At times, the actions of Asuras may seem extremely cruel, but indeed they have saved countless mortals. It's a great calamity. It's also a great merit. In the grand scheme of things, the actions of Asuras align with certain profound principles recognized by Buddhism, so the 6-armed Asura holds a diamond rank within the Buddhist community. Well, of course, the Asuras themselves couldn't care less about this title. They are the fiercest heavenly demons in the endless god's domain, ready to kill anything and anyone. However, just a single punch, as powerful as a supreme Buddhist technique, wasn't enough to surprise Kasina the battle god to this extent, igniting his entire fighting spirit. Translated by Gravity Tales. On the stage of the battle god's grand martial arts tournament, Kasina the battle god was only this excited a few times during the finals. Even the Shura breaking fist, capable of shattering the world with one punch, didn't come close to this level. At most, it just gave Kasina the battle god a little surprise. The reason that made Kasina the battle god reach the highest excitement was the cursed aura continuously emanating from the Shura's body when delivering this punch. If we rate the attack power of the Shura breaking fist as a perfect score of 100, then the terrifying aura emanating suddenly from the Shura's body, gathering countless demonic curses, is beyond comparison in its level of strangeness, even more terrifying than the Asura's pun. Even Kasina the battle god had to tighten all muscles in his body, feeling as if facing a great enemy. Not only Kasina the battle god, but even the 12 nightmare sovereigns in the void felt their hearts racing and shivers running down their spines. Go die, bald donkey. That bald rascal is at it again. Indeed, only dead monks are good monks. In my tower there's still a space. Some incomprehensible force tore through the barriers of time and space when Asura unleashed the Shura breaking fist, and dark clouds gathered from all directions. The universe is above and below. Through ancient times to the present, it is the cosmos. And the masters of these thoughts and feelings seemed to transcend the cosmic rules, projecting their powers collectively. Resentment and anger as if from the depths of the underworld, even the 12 nightmare sovereigns felt a sense of unease, continuously emerging. One of them almost silenced all the nightmare sovereigns, for it was that figure that one must not speak of or look at in the nightmare world. Heh! Asura himself was stunned by the punch he threw. How did his demon god martial art suddenly advance to this level? Her powerful 6-armed demon form did not attract the attention of all the realms and countless evil thought. This is a special level only found in the theory of the demon god martial art. It can only be achieved by reaching the 9th rank. She might need to achieve the 1,000-handed state. Why is it that when she throws this punch now, she feels like a great being from another time and space is watching her from behind? The massive evil thoughts surrounding her have boosted the power of this punch to a level that even Asura himself cannot withstand. Somehow, she feels like after throwing this punch, she will be struck down by a heavenly calamity. This is so unbelievable. Even someone as ruthless as Asura finds this world too surreal. Clearly, she has not cultivated the demon god martial art to this level. Chapter 1344, The Uncontrollable Punch. This is definitely the strongest punch Asura has ever thrown in her life. It is completely different from any of her past Shura-breaking fist punches. In the same way, this is a punch thrown by Asura that left everyone confused and puzzled. With just one punch, not only did it have the power to shatter a world, but it also caused chaos in the threads of destiny, making the sun and moon lose their light. The endless power of curses and hatred erupted in this punch, making even the 12 nightmare sovereigns watching in the void feel uneasy. This is beyond the void that separates world. It's hard to imagine the immense pressure Kasina the battle god faces when facing Asura's punch in the desert sea. It's a punch that can even kill gods, carrying a potential disaster that could never be undone. The 12 nightmare sovereigns wondered if they could withstand Asura's punch. The answer is clear: most nightmare sovereigns cannot withstand the impact of the Shura breaking fist. Nightmare sovereigns, a legendary rank, are not particularly skilled in physical attacks, instead focusing on strange and twisted powers at the spiritual level. Unfortunately, in Asura's powerful Shura breaking fist, there is a hint of energy that makes all nightmare sovereigns extremely fearful. The nightmare power that nightmare sovereigns are good at will be completely neutralized when they encounter a higher level of nightmare power. This means that when this punch hits a nightmare sovereign, it can cause real damage that ignores all defenses. Ada, where did you find such a monster? Phew. Facing a punch that even nightmare sovereigns fear, Cassina the battle god took a deep breath. Like the breath of a giant whale. A wave of unblemished life. A harmonious high note. Body sinking, left hand raised high, right hand sinking low, like a bird about to spread its wings, or a fish about to leap out of the water. Everything felt so natural and harmonious. It's that move. Shaya Longnis, who had suffered greatly from this move before, had her eyes light up as Cassina the battle god executed it. Cassina the battle god developed a battle technique for use against gods and demons called the Magnificence of Sky Dance. Using the power of heaven and earth, it suppressed the legendary gods and demons, a powerful move that unites heaven and humanity. The tyrannical Shura breaking fist, which could destroy the world, was perfectly countered by the Magnificence of Sky Dance. Compared to the mediocre Uneasy, Cassina the battle god could unleash the Magnificence of Sky Dance without needing to gather energy. In just a breath, she synchronized with the power of heaven and earth. This means that Cassina the battle god could unleash the perfect magnificence of Sky Dance anytime and anywhere without needing to spend time gathering energy like Uneasy with the faceless god technique, avoiding the tragic fate of being overwhelmed by the essence of heaven and earth. In just a breath, Cassina the battle god synchronized with the entire desert sea, even making the endless river of time a part of her power. Translated by Gravity Tales. Controlling the power of heaven and earth with just one's own body is the ultimate achievement of the battle god genre. Cassina the battle god's body, as a battle god, could easily contain and bear the essence of an entire world. Boom! A powerful punch, filled with an ominous aura, was blocked by Cassina the battle god. Harden, activate. Unlike the incomplete magnificence of Skydance used by Uneasy, Cassina the battle god's first stage of the Magnificence of Skydance possesses energy-dissipating techniques that Uneasy has not yet mastered. Instead of blocking, Cassina the battle god intercepted the force of the Shura breaking fist, redirecting its power through his own body and dispersing it from below, minimizing its impact. Ripples of energy expanded from beneath Cassina the battle god's feet, causing the entire desert sea to tremble as if a massive earthquake had occurred. After neutralizing a third of the punch's force, Cassina the battle god skillfully redirected the Shura breaking fist's energy, causing their silhouettes to merge as they soared into the sky. Heaven style, activate. Cassina the battle god and Asura, pressed closely together, broke through the sky of the desert sea in an instant, shattering unseen barriers as they ascended beyond the ballroom into the void outside. Oh no, they are coming. Run. Don't let them touch you. Are they trying to take down the referee, like what happened with the god-slaying sky sword last time? This is a foul. Seeing Cassina the battle god rushing into the void with Asura, all the nightmare sovereigns' faces turned pale, recalling the shadow brought by the god-slaying sky sword incident. What's even worse than the previous god-slaying sky sword incident is the aura entwining Shura's body, a nightmare for all nightmare sovereigns. Blood-red radiance. White ripples of life. A spiral of red and white intertwining light, like a divine sword tearing apart the boundaries of heaven and earth, forcefully tearing the void of this corner belonging to the nightmare world. It's amazing. Cassina probably has reached that stage. Flora watched as Cassina the battle god, who was accompanied by a faceless god, charged into the void, causing chaos in the judges' stand. Even she did not have the confidence to face the punch from Asura just now. It's a matter of compatibility. Great witches generally do not like physical fights and prefer to use various strange spells to defeat their opponents. The undefeated myth of the battle god's grand martial arts tournament, being able to remain calm in the face of such a terrifying punch and even counter it with techniques and flips. When Cassina the battle god received that punch just now, the destructive force on his body was enough to shatter a god's domain. The strength of his body was truly unimaginable for a mere mortal. Similarly, the faceless god who threw that punch was the same. Anyone who could unleash such a punch, even if their body strength is not on par with Cassina the battle god, it wouldn't be much of a difference. Truly a senior figure, to be able to fight against Cassina the battle god like this. Uneasy widened his eyes, watching Cassina the battle god perfectly overlap with himself. He knew that this was the heaven style of the magnificence of skydance, a divine technique used to seal gods and demons. Compared to his own incomplete heaven style, the heaven style unleashed by teacher Cassina the battle god was the true heaven style. Even with all 6 of Asura's arms combined, he could not break free from Cassina the battle god's grip, and the direction of his punch was completely diverted. No matter how strong the power is, if it cannot hit the opponent, it is ineffective. Once heaven style is activated, it will make the opponent dance along. Asura's power is being absorbed by Cassina the battle god. By borrowing the opponent's power and using it to seal the opponent, it is the magical characteristic of the magnificence of skydance. This move becomes stronger as the opponent becomes stronger. However, Asura's Shura breaking fist has unleashed power that is beyond his control. Chapter 1345, surging into the void despite the change in direction, breaking through the barriers of a world and causing the 12 nightmare sovereigns to flee, the destructive power of Shura breaking fist shows no signs of diminishing. Being restrained by Cassina the battle god, losing 1/3 of his power, shifting the attack trajectory, and continuously absorbing power from heaven style, yet the momentum of this punch not only does not weaken, but keeps increasing. Master acting strange. I can't control this move. Completely can't stop. Even though Asura clearly unleashed the Shura breaking fist, shattering a barrier in the world, she felt like something went wrong from the beginning. And it was a major issue that she couldn't comprehend at all. The red and white spiral beam continued to extend, a marvel in the dark void filled with lower-level nightmare creatures, appearing like a miracle. Every second, hundreds of nightmare creatures were obliterated by this spiral beam, with only a few highly alert higher-level nightmare creatures sensing the impending danger and escaping the beam's path. Merit. This is all merit. Uneasy, tormented by pain, noticed his proficiency with the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll was steadily increasing. If I don't go to hell, who will go to hell? Hell won't be emptied, I will not become a Buddha. With great wisdom, I will be reborn in the land of ultimate bliss. The more Uneasy had such thoughts, the stronger the calamity power gathered behind the Shura body became clearer, to the point where even the nightmare sovereign would flee frantically if they saw it. That obsession from across time and space, the immense malice towards the Buddhist gate, was simply an irreconcilable personal grievance. The unlucky one targeted by this force happened to be Asura, because she had caused Uneasy the greatest pain, and indeed had some connection with the Buddhist gate. Similarly, Cassina the battle god was also affected. She found the 6-armed demon sealed by the heaven style was becoming more and more insane, the karmic aura surrounding it was only increasing. Translated by Gravity Tales? The heaven style couldn't contain this calamity anymore. Clearly, the curse born on the Shura body had exceeded the limit that the heaven style could seal. So, transform. Earth style. Boom. A spiral beam of light collided with a huge silhouette in a corner of the emptiness. It was an ancient star that had died long ago, and because its core had already died, the composition of the entire star had changed. The strong gravity caused this long-dead star to continuously collapse, transforming into a different substance, with the gravity standing on it exceeding thousands of times that of a normal star. For some unknown reason, the entire abandoned celestial body was pulled into the nightmare world, evolving towards an even more unknown direction. For Cassina, this was the perfect environment to use Earth style. This celestial body, with its own gravity exceeding that of a normal star by thousands of times, was like a prison itself. If guided by Earth style, even true deities could be sealed and suppressed with ease. Endless bright red light burst forth, the power of Shura breaking fist finally erupted without holding back, punching a huge hole in the extraordinary collapsing star, revealing the dark interior of the star. Cassina the battle god rode on the back of the faceless god, holding down the chest of the faceless god, pressing his feet against the body of the faceless god. Fully sealed Earth style activated. Different from simply suppressing the opponent, the Heaven style absorbs the opponent's power. The Earth style, which requires a heavy earth element as a carrier to complete the final sealing step, once activated, will never let go without sealing the opponent. A massive pillar of blood-red light soared into the sky, powered by the Asura dispersed by Cassina the battle god's hands, the primal power of Shura breaking fist. Asura's 6 arms all struck Cassina the battle god, but could not shake Cassina the battle god's hands in the least. Asura, feeling the constant dispersal of his power, let out a furious roar of reluctance. In contrast, Uneasy inside the faceless god felt an incredible sense of relaxation. With Cassina the battle god's hands, Asura's power crumbled, and Uneasy's pain slowly vanished. From Heaven style to Earth style, even though one side was sealed and suppressed, the close contact between both sides made Uneasy understand the true essence of the magnificence of sky dance even more. It was a supreme belief, a technique that combined the power of heaven and earth into one's own rules, a divine skill that could even seal and suppress gods and demons. Especially at this moment, when Cassina the battle god pressed down on the faceless god with his body, his hands on the chest almost directly touched the core of the faceless god. Despite being a sealing technique, the Paphos were not afraid at all. Instead, they excitedly absorbed the power of Cassina the battle god. The soaring pillar of spiritual energy was the best proof. It turned out that experiencing the full magnificence of sky dance was so comfortable. Teacher Cassina the battle god, how did you come up with this move? Under the overwhelming force of Cassina the battle god, Uneasy completely forgot that he was still tormented by Asura's power and also forgot the true meaning of Buddhism he had just realized. Oh, you're back. Out of control, it's over. Asura unexpectedly realized she had regained control of her body. However, the outcome was already decided. Cassina the battle god proved worthy, as she boldly faced a punch filled with endless calamity without hesitation. She caught the punch cleanly and decisively, without any hesitation. Even Asura, her opponent, couldn't help but admire Cassina the battle god's courage and divine power. Asura couldn't even block the Shura breaking fist that was just thrown. Cassina the battle god did it. Boom. More crimson energy dispersed, causing Asura's 6-armed demon body to start becoming blurry, along with her consciousness beginning to waver. Master, this battle is going very well. I look forward to the moment when you truly master the path of the 10-sided demon god. It's best to seize this body, very useful. After completing his historical mission, Asura ended his battle with Cassina the battle god. The only question was why her fighting ability increased so much after entering the state of the 6-armed demon. This wasn't entirely a good thing, as having too much power beyond her control completely disrupted her attack rhythm. That kind of power wasn't something that the 6-armed demon could possess, it was an attack power that could only be mastered by a higher level of demon god martial art. Just one punch drained almost all of her strength, leaving her no room for maneuver. Otherwise, Cassina the battle god wouldn't have been able to effortlessly counter and strike back. Chapter 1346, Awareness. As the state of Asura's arrival ended, Cassina the battle god used the magnificence of sky dance to extract the blood-colored energy continuously from the faceless god's body, creating a burst of fireworks in the sky, marking the end of the magnificence of sky dance. Cassina the battle god looked puzzled at the faceless god pinned down by her hands placed on his chest getting restless. Now, it was a lawless moment. Not even the 12 nightmare sovereigns who were judges could pay attention here. This is also Uneasy's fault. Not being in the state of Asura's descent, the seed of the battle god in his body naturally activated under the influence of the magnificence of sky dance. In such a close contact, Cassina the battle god suddenly sensed that the faceless god she held down was quietly emitting a familiar wave. Haha! It's you, little one. Since the battle started, Cassina the battle god had a vague premonition, especially when activating the magnificence of Skydance. It seemed that the opponent had already experienced it before. Almost failing with the heaven style, but finally succeeding with a combination of heaven and earth strikes, and with the steel star body in the void as a perfect seal carrier, the seal was completed. Teacher, can you please get off me? Uneasy also knew he had been exposed. Among all the legend rank participants in the Red Heart Queen's masquerade, Teacher Cassina the battle god knew him best. The disguise of the faceless god was perfect, but one of the power sources that drove the faceless god's battle was the seed of the battle god sown by Teacher Cassina the battle god. It would be strange not to use Teacher Cassina the battle god's seed of the battle god to drive the faceless god and Cassina the battle god to fight without revealing anything. However, Cassina the battle god was one of Uneasy's most trusted people in the world. He knew the secret of Uneasy being the starry sky chess master, and he was also the guide who led him to the Sky Tower. In the future foreseen by the White Lotus secret treasure, there were moments when Uneasy and Teacher Cassina the battle god danced together. Just like when Uneasy was struck by Cassina the battle god's magnificent sky dance just now, it was an incredible and miraculous experience. That move just now was good. Your body is quite interesting too. How about we have another round? After discovering the true identity of the faceless god, Cassina the battle god became even more eager to spar with his disciple. Originally, Cassina the battle god thought it would take several decades or even centuries for his disciple to grow to the level where he could spar with him at full strength, waiting for his body and spirit to be fully developed. That punch just now was a huge surprise for her. If there hadn't been some issues with control, the magnificence of Skydance might not have been able to deflect the force of that punch. This attack was really too powerful. Did you see how the 12 Nightmare Sovereigns were shocked and fled after seeing that punch? None of them could have withstood that punch. I can't fight anymore. The way I was just now was very strange. When suffering from pain, Uneasy didn't think about much else. It was only later that he realized how incredibly powerful that Shura breaking fist was. It forcefully broke through the Red Heart Queen's masquerade, terrifying the 12 Nightmare Sovereigns and forcing Cassina the battle god to use her divine skills with one punch. Can Asura be this strong in a fight? Yes. You couldn't control that punch, even the six-armed demon body couldn't. Cassina the battle god recalled the trajectory of that punch, being the first to encounter such a mysterious divine skill. The punch thrown in the Asura six-armed demon body state was the strongest punch of the 10-sided demon god road, an unstoppable blood-slaughter punch. Even facing deities and Buddhas, it never retreated, a punch of utmost strength and supreme power. However, halfway through, the style of this punch suddenly changed, becoming something even Cassina the battle god found hard to understand. The destructive punch of utmost strength suddenly carried immense resentment and curses, but not just any resentment and curses. It reached a bizarre level that even terrified the Nightmare Sovereigns. Even the mighty Cassina the battle god felt a great sense of danger when facing this punch. If Asura couldn't control its strange power, its powerful Skydance move might not be able to withstand the attack. If the endless malice continues, even Cassina the battle god won't be able to handle it. Translated by Gravity Tales. It's been a while, and you're still practicing this dark and mysterious technique. So, here's a task for you. Master the six-armed state sooner and level up quickly. Your teacher will be very pleased. Cassina the battle god was very happy with Uneasy's progress. This means that the seeds she planted were starting to grow strong. Although they were still a bit immature now, once they grew up, it would be time for harvest. Cassina the battle god had been looking forward to the joy of the ripe peach for a long time. Ouroboros is quite useful. Cassina the battle god patted the body of the faceless god and felt the energy of the seed of the battle god, which had grown a lot since it was planted, expressing great satisfaction. With Ouroboros, which was more useful than it looked, as the first diviner of Endless Gods domain mystery fiction, she was the active divination crystal ball. Even without using divination, the fate strings can still be involved. That's why so many people from the legend rank want Ouroboros the lazy serpent to predict their futures. They're coming, let's put on a little act. Cassina the battle god's ears twitched, sensing the approaching distortions in the dark void. "Don't worry. I will take good care of you." Cassina the battle god gently held the faceless god's cheeks, showing a gentle and affectionate expression. "Well, I do have a talent for performing after all." Cassina the battle god looked at the bewildered Uneasy and gently kissed him. What's happening? Teacher, what are you doing? I haven't even proposed yet. Why did you kiss me? Which part of the river of time is this?" When Cassina the battle god kissed him, Uneasy's mind went blank, unable to tell what was real and what was the boundary of dreaming. The nightmare sovereigns, who approached cautiously, saw the prince being pinned down by the princess, his hands powerless and bound, in a breathless and embarrassed situation. Stunned. Staring blankly. Very excited. In short, extremely shocked, almost unable to believe their eyes. Whose victory is this? Is it Cassina the battle god? Or the prince? Chapter 1347. Steel Star. The 12 nightmare sovereigns, who arrived late, looked at Cassina the battle god overpowering the faceless god and breathed a sigh of relief when they confirmed that the ominous disaster had disappeared without a trace. The ball created by Red Heart Queen Ada was a special setting empowered by the will of Nightmare World. Even they couldn't interfere casually but had to follow Nightmare World's rules as judges and score from outside the void. Throughout history, the only participant who could break into the Ada ballroom and enter the dark void was the rule-breaking god-slaying Sky Sword. Now, is there one more, or maybe two? The power they just displayed, especially the Shura breaking fist enveloped in endless disaster, made Nightmare Sovereign feel immense pressure. It's not that the 12 Nightmare Sovereign's power is truly weak, it's simply a matter of compatibility. God-slaying Sky Sword, Cassina the battle god, and the six-armed demon form of Asura all, to some extent, greatly restrain the rulers of Nightmare World. The Nightmare Sovereigns, beings born from the negative forces of intelligent creatures in the shadows of the mind, are very wary of the legend rank like Cassina the battle god, who does not rely on external factors but can unleash explosive attacks purely through their own strength. Translated by Gravity Tales? By relying on oneself instead of external objects, Nightmare Sovereigns lost about half of their skills. Having a strong will that cannot be influenced by any nightmare scenes, and can even interfere with reality, is the best weapon against the Nightmare World. 4 Nightmare Sovereigns, creatures like the Sky Sword, are very troublesome opponents. It is not just one Nightmare Sovereign who has been slain by the Sky Sword, paving the way for the god-slaying Sky Sword. Although very few are completely killed off, when a Nightmare Sovereign is killed once, they enter a weakened state and often need hundreds or even thousands of years to recover. Many of the judges who were killed by the god-slaying Sky Sword are still lying in their respective nightmare territories. Ada, who has been massacred hundreds of times by the god-slaying Sky Sword in a fit of rage, due to having the constitution of both a Nightmare Sovereign and an ancient Abyss god, soon resumed hosting the Red Heart Queen's masquerade. From this perspective, Ada can be said to be a very special Nightmare Sovereign, especially since it is favored by that one. The Nightmare Sovereigns chosen for the Red Heart Queen's masquerade this time naturally had to show enough respect to that one, and the dance party hosted by Ada was indeed very interesting, which is why they rarely gathered together to be judges. Do not think that Nightmare Sovereigns like to stick together. The Nightmare World is so vast and incredible that nobody knows the true size of this world of illusions. Compared to the endless God's domain, of which less than 5% has been explored, even Nightmare Sovereigns cannot accurately describe the size of the Nightmare World. The nightmares of intelligent beings are twisted and chaotic. A nightmare that can contain millions of nightmare beings may only appear as an ant nest in a big tree in the real world. Humans occasionally caught in this nightmare cannot understand the concept of this time and space. The Nightmare World, connected by countless nightmares of intelligent beings, shows a structure where space and time are extremely chaotic. Some nightmare worlds reflect natural disasters and human disasters that humans fear, some retain the dreams of ancient gods, and some project segments that belong only to the future. In the Nightmare World, the timeline of past, present, and future is not fixed but appears in a chaotic hive-like structure. What marks the boundaries of the Nightmare World are dead celestial bodies swallowed by the Nightmare World, strange celestial bodies that have long been dead and in a collapsed state. Yes, even in nightmares, stars still exist. These long-dead stars are occasionally captured by the nightmare world, consumed, and transformed into the only recognizable coordinates of the nightmare world. However, unlike the stars shining brightly in the real world, the stars here do not have any living beings. They are all nests of nightmare creatures. With gravity thousands of times stronger and no air or sunlight in the dark void, these stars that have long died remain in eternal silence, symbolizing the end of intelligent beings. Occasionally, new nightmare creatures are born on these dead celestial bodies. That is immersed in the ancient history of their own stars, symbolizing the last memories of the stars, the traces left by the wise beings who once lived on these stars. Nightmare world is like a huge graveyard, accepting the final remnants of the stars that once shone in the sky. Not all stars are eligible to be chosen by Nightmare World and pulled in. Only the stars that have given birth to brilliant civilizations, but have fallen into collapse over a long period of time, will be captured by Nightmare World and eventually become coordinates of Nightmare World. Many nightmare sovereigns are born on these dead stars, unable to recall their past or where they came from. Lost, they often wander on the original land of the stars for millions of years before leaving the dead stars and entering the endless world of nightmares. Nightmare sovereigns have turned these long-dead stars, collapsed celestial bodies, and lands into steel stars resembling steel structures. Due to their collapsed state, the mass of the stars is terrifying, and there is almost nothing in Nightmare World that can destroy such coordinates. There is also no need for destruction, so these dead celestial bodies rarely appear in such a large broken state now. However, Nightmare World has its own rules. Soon, the collapsed body of Steel Star began to collapse inward once again, contracting the damaged parts and increasing its gravity. No matter what shape a celestial body originally had, once captured by Nightmare World, it will eventually become a standard sphere. Even if it is destroyed again, the debris will continue this evolutionary process. The coordinate map of Nightmare World is formed by one collapsed star after another acting as nodes. Compared to the constantly changing nature of Nightmare World itself, these collapsed stars can be said to be the only points that do not change, and they are the markers used by the Nightmare Sovereigns to divide their territories. And the owner of these stars is the Red Heart Queen Ada. It seems like it's not the worst situation yet. The ball is still going on, just slightly beyond expectations. Cassina the battle god, truly the one closest to the concept of the god-slaying sky sword. It should be said that she already has the ability to make that breakthrough. If even the steel star can be broken, who is this prince? This is a really exciting performance. Chapter 1348, The Princesses Attack 'em. Delicious taste, Cassina the battle god said satisfied, moving her lips away from the faceless god's lips. It was a bit cold, but not bad in taste, carrying an ancient and fragrant aroma. Where did her youngest disciple find such a body? This is not just any god weapon level treasure, but a mysterious item that not even the ruler of her battle god's grand martial arts tournament has obtained. Moreover, it seems to have an extremely high combat power. Whether used as a container or a weapon, it's excellent. Even she was quite enamored with it. Position. Rushing to such a far place in an instant, can we say that it is truly worthy of Cassina the battle god? If you go further, it will no longer be part of the Ada's territory. The 12 Nightmare Sovereigns joined forces to gather the shattered fragments of Steel Star back together, just like putting together building blocks. They didn't need to intervene further, as Steel Star naturally gathered the scattered fragments back into a perfect sphere through a collapsing and recycling process. After a pause of about half an hour, Cassina the battle god led the faceless god back onto the stage of the Red Heart Queen's masquerade. Translated by Gravity Tales? I agree. Looking at Yun-Shi, who seemed bewildered, Cassina the battle god patted the faceless god's shoulder, indicating acceptance of the prince's proposal. By now, Prince Yun-Shi had separately sent out the Enchantress, Saint Demon, and Asura to conquer Ouroboros, Cyber Elf Alpha, and his teacher, Cassina the battle god. Well, congratulations, congratulations. When Cassina the battle god returned from the stage with a satisfied look, Flora was the first to step forward and ask, "What did you do to the seniors?" There is definitely a problem. Cassina the battle god's attitude has changed too much. During the first round, Flora felt that she was being a bit careless about the Red Heart Queen's masquerade. Even after dancing the battle god's dance, there was no feeling of romance between her and the seniors. But now things are different. Things got intense between them, to the point of fighting fiercely. Even beyond the venue of the Red Heart Queen's masquerade, the atmosphere between them suddenly changed. She saw a confident and victorious aura on Cassina the battle god's face. It was just a fight. I like fighting, is there anything wrong with that? Despite she always being favored and treated like a spoiled child, happily celebrating by dancing, Cassina the battle god herself is actually very tough. Even faced with questioning from Dusk Witch Flora, she didn't care at all and didn't bother to answer properly. No, you're lying. In love, Great Witch Flora's intuition is very sharp. Just moments ago, when Cassina the battle god and the senior disappeared from everyone's sight, something must have happened. The previous Cassina the battle god and the current Cassina the battle god have completely different looks in their eyes when facing the senior. I like opponents who can fight with me. I really like it. Cassina the battle god smiled slightly, very happy as a teacher to see her disciple growing so well. When peaches ripen, the sweetness tasted is a privilege enjoyed only by those who planted the peaches. Are you such a battle god? Flora stared fiercely at Cassina the battle god, who looked calm, swearing there was a secret here. Cassina, do you know her? Ouroboros leaned on the seat, with a curious expression. In a way, Ouroboros, has anyone ever told you that you've been lucky? Cassina the battle god glanced at Ouroboros. Endless Gods Domain's top-ranked mystery fiction fortune-telling fantasy creature, the snake who repeatedly avoids paying debts, seems to have a high luck value to still be bouncing around alive. Receiving an invitation to the Red Heart Queen's masquerade this time, maybe it's her mysterious ability to capture destiny at play. Of course, if our luck value and charisma aren't high, we fortune-telling mystery fiction tellers won't make it. Who would be interested in listening to an ugly old witch's fortune-telling? Naturally, only those with a beautiful figure can deceive. I mean, guide destiny. Ouroboros straightened their chest, swaying their voluptuous peaks, speaking the truths of the universe. Good-looking women with great figures are always favored no matter when. The chest represents justice. Well done. Cassina the battle god nodded, continuing to drink with Ouroboros. Arriving at the Red Heart Queen's masquerade, the main goal has been achieved, now it's only waiting for their cute disciple to further grow. When he fully masters the six-armed demon body and unleashes the power of endless calamity, it will be time to reap the rewards. With the protection of that container, even encountering enemies of the legend rank will not be a problem, as the seed of the battle god inside his body will grow more perfect in battle. The moment when peaches ripen is faster than imagined. Fighting can improve relationships. Cassina the battle god really likes the way sister looks. It's my turn to go on. After watching 3 performances of Prince and Princess in a row, the Golden Crow Princess from Kunlun God's Domain was eager to try it out herself. Referee, I want to go on stage. There is no doubt that this little princess is about to use her privileges again. Unfortunately, the 12 Nightmare Sovereigns could not refuse the princess's request. So, the Golden Crow Princess bravely stepped onto the grand stage as a noble lady once again. Ah, it's the little miss. Seeing this opponent, she felt relieved. This opponent seems easy. Should I use Enchantress or Saint Demon? Asura can't participate anymore. That last punch nearly took half of Asura's life. It seems Asura won't be able to join any more challenges. As for the highest level impermanent, it seems there is no response. Maybe Yunshi's current level of practice with the Paranormita Vasavartin scroll is not enough to summon the symbol of the supreme heavenly demon, impermanent. HMPH. Hey. Yunshi and the Golden Crow Princess were on a barren land of fire, where the Sun God once roasted a bunch of inferior evil gods who clashed with the Golden Crow Princess. Here, this is where the Golden Crow Princess performs to demonstrate how to light up the planets. Moving her limbs, the Golden Crow Princess first pressed her left foot, then her right foot. RCHA. Chapter 1351. Shaya Longnis's weakness. When Uneasy and Parfu finished synchronizing and split out a new batch of Parfu offspring to fill the roasted old generation Parfu, completing about 1/3 of the restoration, the Enchantress's task was also successfully completed. Okay. Big sister is amazing. The Golden Crow Princess tiptoed, kissed the somewhat cold cheek of the faceless god, and ran off in a flash. Progress on capturing the Golden Crow Princess, completed. Although, not a righteous person at all. Master, remember to call me next time if there's such an opportunity. Enchantress told Uneasy contentedly, the little Golden Crow Princess was great. In various senses. As a world-harming enchantress, one little Golden Crow Princess is not enough to satisfy. What on earth did you do? Watching the excited Golden Crow Princess run off, Uneasy always felt that something bad had happened when he wasn't around. Unfortunately, there's no time left. On the ladies' stage, the fifth princess stepped onto the stage. Slime Sky Sword, Shaya Longnis. In the Mirror Lake, the once proud queen of Assyria looked down on the faceless god with disdain. You don't think I'm a child, do you? Well, of course not. Uneasy felt a mix of emotions looking at Slime Sky Sword, who had been intimately connected with him in various ways. What kind of expression should he use to face her at this moment? Why didn't Primitive Dragon notice during the trial, especially when Parfu had reacted to the Queen of Assyria back then? He was just too young back then. At a time like this, it's best to switch people. If you go up yourself, you might give something away. Enchantress's special connection works well with little kids like the Golden Crow Princess who are innocent and adorable. For queens like Shaya Longnis, it's better to have Saint Demon step in. Switch. The silver ripples slowly spread out, and the faceless god's aura became elegant and indifferent, completely different from Enchantress just now. This feeling is. Shaya Longnis noticed that the faceless god in front of her suddenly felt different. That cold, pure aura that arouses the interest of the evil gods and is loved by the divine beings. Do you like children? Saint Demon cut to the chase, touching the softest part of Shaya Longnis's heart. This is where the proud queen is most vulnerable. Once there's a soft spot in her heart, there's no turning back. Saint Demon, who could be a messenger of the gods, a saint, or a priestess, has a very different way of using human weaknesses compared to the Enchantress. The Enchantress uses human desires and instincts. Saint Demon uses bonds and friendship. The Enchantress is all about enchantment. She ends up in tragic situations most of the time, living up to the reputation of being a siren. On the other hand, Saint Demon is different. She is great in life and dies heroically, making people never doubt her connection with the heavenly demon. I love it. I want to give my daughter the best things in the world. Shaya Longnis's heart softened when she talked about her daughter. White Moon is her precious surprise, unexpected joy. Apart from the part of the personality belonging to the Queen of Assyria, all other personalities dote on this unexpected little one. Translated by Gravity Tales. To give her the perfect puppet body, all the fragments of Shaya Longnis's personality remarkably reached a complete agreement. At all costs, create the best body for White Moon. Even if it means breaking the gods' taboos, White Moon must be born. This is the love of the Great Mother, and Shaya Longnis's love. To achieve this goal, she didn't regret being hunted by Lilibet and facing danger time after time. Everything is for the lovable White Moon. When she held the tiny soul core in her hand, Shaya Longnis felt like she had everything. May the gods. Saint Demon paused, almost saying the usual bless and pray, may the miracles of life protect your child. I have some experience in caring for children. Is your child rebellious? No, how could she be? She is the best behaved child in the world, Shaya Longnis said confidently, listing her lovely daughter's good points. She never cried or fussed since she was born. Except when feeling jealous or having a disagreement with her own mom, when mommy is tired, she tries hard to help. After this and that with a prince, the daughter will. Very brave, not even ancient gods can shake her will. Rather, she can even summon the power to dominate ancient gods. She is my pride, the most adorable White Moon. Master, Is this your fault? Saint Demon felt that her master had seriously misjudged the kind of daughter she had raised. As a holy woman who always listens to human troubles, Saint Demon has valuable experience in how to have a good relationship with such a great mother. The empresses, who seem towering and aloof in the eyes of ordinary people, always love to confide their troubles in holy women. Moreover, without exception, they all have nothing to do with national affairs, solely focusing on family matters. For these great women, their troublesome children are a bigger concern than national affairs. They are great rulers, never showing weakness to their people. Only in front of the saint representing the gods can they release their concerns. Only the saint symbolizing the faith in the gods would never reveal secrets and would listen to them vent, making queens throughout history good friends with the saints. Over time, each of the saint demons became experts in this area. Building a good relationship with a mother who spoils her children is super simple. That truly is a blessed child by fate. Saint Demon smiled, praising White Moon, whom she had never met. After all, White Moon was the perfect puppet created by their master at home. Yes, White Moon is indeed a miracle. Shaya Longnis's gaze towards the faceless god suddenly became more pleasing. Unfortunately, so much of the materials for making White Moon's body were wasted by those incompetent puppet makers. Each one claims to be the top puppet maker in the doll city, but all the bodies they make are unusable, just rubbish. When it comes to the group of puppet makers in the doll city, Shaya Longnis couldn't contain her anger. When they received the puppet design for White Moon and the list of materials, they boasted louder and louder. As a result, they all failed. Chapter 1352, The Season of White Moon. At the beginning, this is what they all said. Don't worry, I will definitely create the best puppet body and give this soul of doll a perfect form. Don't listen to him, his specialty is not making puppet bodies for little girls. Just look at his puppets with long legs and curvy bodies, he has no experience in making young girl puppets at all. You are accusing people wrongly, your group of small puppets are the evil ones. Calling a quarter proportion a puppet is like a toy. Old man, I have tolerated you for a long time, a quarter doll is the right way. Do you have any dissatisfaction? Each one of them is so foolish. Goth little girls are the right way. Wait, my Luke Coco school does not agree. In order to compete for the right to create the body of the White Moon puppet, the various major puppet schools in Doll City had a huge argument, and only after several puppet wars did they finally compromise. The final solution was that all schools had the right to create, but only the puppets that perfectly matched the White Moon soul of doll were the winners. Regarding the design of White Moon and the materials list, each major school of puppet masters in Doll City had one copy, and the puppet makers of each school were eager. They placed orders with the various major guilds of the Endless Gods domain to purchase enough materials to create a large puppet army. The main material for the puppets, the extremely precious moonlight branches, were almost completely bought up by these crazy puppet makers. As a specialty of the fairy clan, many moonlight trees in the elfin forest were nearly stripped bare by mercenaries from the Endless Gods domain recently. They were looting these precious magic trees almost to the point of uprooting them. Especially the moonlight tree that has been around for many years, many people took a risk and sneaked into the deep elfin forest to steal the materials that have doubled in price continuously. Many people were caught by the scouts of the fairy clan and sentenced to hundreds of years of imprisonment. Despite the heavy penalties, there were still a large number of crazy mercenaries coming one after another, just like mushrooms after the rain. These mercenaries who kept coming to steal goods made the usually peaceful fairy clan angry. They started catching them one by one, and now the fairy clan's prison is overflowing. As the buyers, the puppet makers began a large-scale White Moon manufacturing plan. Following the layout and list provided by Shaya Longnis, each faction sent their strongest puppet maker to participate in the White Moon manufacturing plan this time. With great interest in the mysterious existence of White Moon, they each showcased their skills and expertise, creating several theoretically flawless puppet bodies with the most perfect technique and the most demanding attitude. Even by the strictest standards of the Doll City, these puppet bodies were the highest masterpiece. If they were to be sold, Each one would be a priceless treasure. Surprisingly, all the bodies manufactured according to that layout and list were defective products. White Moon said that all these puppet bodies were no good, they were all failures. She couldn't find a match among these bodies, even the best one was too far away for White Moon to use. If we consider the perfect body for White Moon as a score of 100, then the best puppet made by the Doll City for White Moon, rumored to be a masterpiece crafted from moonlight branches for over 10,000 years, only scored less than 30 points. When this score was revealed, the entire Doll City was shocked. As the soul of Doll, White Moon would not lie about such an important matter. If something works well, it works well, if it doesn't, it doesn't. Despite being the most perfect puppet created by combining the talents of all the outstanding puppet makers in the Doll City, it couldn't even pass. Even though they followed the list meticulously and used materials superior to those on the list, they still couldn't reach the passing grade. This fact dealt a heavy blow to many confident puppet makers and sparked a revolution in the Doll City. The special puppet makers in the Endless Gods domain, who are known for creating a huge army of puppets, felt ashamed for the first time about their lack of knowledge. The appearance of the White Moon taught these puppet makers that there are always greater things beyond what they know. The soul of Doll, which has its own wisdom and spirituality, has always been the ultimate fantasy of puppet makers, the core of the legendary perfect puppet. Now that the perfect core has been found, they realized they couldn't create a body that matches it, even with the materials provided, which was quite embarrassing. The entire Doll City was abuzz with excitement because of the White Moon's arrival, symbolizing the ultimate dream of puppet makers, just like Cyber Elf Alpha in the Mechanical Gods domain. After the first failed attempt at the White Moon manufacturing plan, the puppet makers in the Doll City reflected on their mistakes and came up with different ideas. Some believed that the materials used to create the White Moon were not good enough, and that the moonlight branches in the Elfin Forest were better. They decided to negotiate with the Fairy Clan to collect more precious materials for the White Moon's body. Others thought that just having the materials was not sufficient, they needed to develop new puppet-making methods based on the basic diagrams and material lists provided by Shaya Longnis. Some even proposed a plan to create 10,000 White Moon puppets, and then have them battle each other to see which one would emerge as the White Moon's champion. As the mother of White Moon, Shaya Longnis's opinion on these plans is, let's try all of them. Shaya Longnis herself sneaked into the Sky Tower, opened up a few of the Sky Tower's most precious warehouses, and stole the valuable materials that could be used to make White Moon. The leaders of the major factions in the Doll City each gathered a group of followers and worked hard to develop new plans for creating the body of White Moon. The lower-level puppet makers who didn't have the ability to develop independent plans joined the vigorous White Moon mass production plan, and prepared a large-scale battlefield for mass-produced White Moon puppets. They were ready to observe and record the performance of these White Moon puppets made by moonlight branches in actual combat. The entire Doll City was buzzing with excitement for a moment. All plans related to White Moon were given the highest priority. In fact, the research on White Moon has become a brand new emerging field of study in the Doll City. In just a few months, the results produced by this field of study had already surpassed the accumulative achievements of the past several hundred years. Translated by Gravity Tales. Inspired by the White Moon manufacturing plan, the extremely excited puppet makers referred to this field of study as White Studies. In the Doll City now, it's the season of White Learning. Chapter 1353, The Crazy Puppet Makers. After spending several months in the Doll City, Shaya Longnis saw with her own eyes that the puppet maker's promise was broken. At the beginning, don't worry, leave everything to us. We will definitely create the best body for White Moon. This level of difficulty is just average. The puppets we make will have a more beautiful and outstanding design than this. Translated by Gravity Tales. Moonlight branches as the main material are quite rare. The materials on this list are not good enough. We can provide you with higher quality goods. Midway through the initial manufacturing failed. Please give us a little more time. What's wrong with this composition? I followed all the instructions, but the finished products didn't meet the requirements. Did I miss something? I don't believe this is my fault, it's a problem with the composition and the list. Even if I jump from the doll city and fall into the endless void, I will never make another puppet based on this composition again. The end. Oh my, what's going on with this composition? Moonlight branches. We need more, longer-aged moonlight branches. Place an order with the mercenary guild. What? Out of stock? The mercenaries we sent out were captured by the fairies. I don't care, increase the price, raise it again. Without moonlight branches, I won't be able to survive. White moon, white moon, white moon. This composition is amazing. Get me 10 more sets of the materials on the list. Failed works are unnecessary. Let's tweak them in the warehouse and turn them into production machines for the White Moon project. From starting off confident, to doubting life in the middle, and finally ending with crazy admiration and research. Based on her memory, Shaya Longnis handwrote the White Moon sketches and checklist, showing a trend towards becoming the holy artifact of the entire doll city. Research on White Moon has become the top priority for all the school of puppet masters in the entire doll city. Every month brings new achievements, and every day brings new discoveries. Moonlight branches, originally not popular puppet materials, have skyrocketed in price over the past few months, with prices increasing several times over, especially for older branches. The soaring prices have driven a group of mercenaries to take risks, stealing moonlight trees used for decoration in the Fairy King's court. In a bid to secure scarce supplies, the major puppet masters' schools have engaged in numerous puppet warfare duels. The intense competition has led to rapid progress, bringing about a transformative change to the doll city which had seen little progress for hundreds of years, all because of the arrival of White Moon. Just studying how to make the White Moon model puppet has many different parts. There are lots of ideas and materials being used that could make many big puppet-making businesses go bankrupt. This is the first time in the history of Doll City that all puppet-making styles are working together and competing to solve a challenge. It is also a chance to change the order in Doll City and challenge the fixed positions of different puppet-making styles. When facing the White Moon, which represents the ultimate fantasy of puppet makers, every style is excited. Making a perfect puppet body for the White Moon, reaching 100% match, has become the goal for all the school of puppet masters, no matter the cost. Now, the only measure left to determine the top-ranking school of puppet masters is the match of the puppet body for White Moon. Until Shaya Longnis left Doll City, the highest record was only 31%, which is not even a passing score. Each puppet master's school is trying their best to improve their White Moon puppet by even just 1%, searching for better materials and studying new puppet-making methods. This is a prosperous time in the history of Doll City, destined to be a great era in the history of puppet makers. All puppet makers are grateful to be able to be active in this era. Those who can leave their names in this era will surely become legends. And the puppet maker who can create a 100% perfect puppet body for White Moon is almost certain to advance to the highest rank of legend puppet makers. Even a few puppet makers who have been hidden for a long time and are already legends were shocked for the sake of that grand level. The creator of a certain school known for its obsession with the golden ratio human body, specializing in puppets with long legs and 100% realism. A genius who only makes 1/4 dolls and excels in crafting tiny puppets. A master who is fascinated with gothic little girl themes, especially the scythe-shaped gothic battle puppets. A puppet maker who has been sticking to the Rococo style for 10,000 years without wavering, renowned for their light and gorgeous court style. Because of the appearance of White Moon, all the remaining legend rank puppet makers in the Doll City have without exception returned, some even rushing back from the unknown region of Endless God's domain overnight to the Doll City. The puppets they made were all priceless, but none of them had a soul and wisdom as spiritual and wise as White Moon's. Creating a soul and wisdom for the puppets has always been the puppet maker's goal. The soul here is not the twisted and malicious spirits that black magic can summon. What puppet makers desire is a pure, pristine blueprint like a blank canvas that can depict endless scenery, a pure soul that can perfectly match the puppet's body. White Moon possesses such a special and pure soul. If the faceless god represents a perfect vessel, then White Moon is a naturally perfect soul, the treasure that all puppet makers dream of. The only thing that puzzled the legendary puppet makers was why White Moon existed as a sole soul. She clearly had her own puppet body once, and that sketch and list are the best proof. 4 puppet makers who are already famous for their paranoia and madness in various mysterious professions, creating White Moon's puppet body is an irresistible temptation. So, those idiots wasted all my materials, not even producing a decent product. They shamelessly asked me if I could provide them with White Moon's past body for research. A group of people who can't achieve anything well but cause a lot of trouble, why would I bother with them if I had the chance? After scolding all 4 puppet makers of the legendary rank thoroughly, Shaya Longnis felt just a little bit better. There's no way around it, those puppet makers really disappointed people. Chapter 1354, Saint Demons Lie. After experiencing disappointment time and time again, Shaya Longnis had to accept a fact beyond her control. These self-important and secretive puppet makers, including the 4 legendary puppet makers who had long disappeared from the world, were all talk and no action. In the dream, the prince born to the White Moon that married the Queen of Assyria was supposed to have a body made by the puppet makers, but they couldn't even create a decent thigh. What a failure! What a sense of powerlessness! Even if they say the materials they used are much more expensive than listed, it doesn't matter. If it's not suitable, then it's not suitable. In Shaya Longnis's eyes, the combined value of their offerings couldn't even buy one leg of their daughter. Unable to meet the standards, Shaya Longnis reluctantly accepted the explanations of the puppet makers in the end. To create the perfect puppet body for White Moon, better materials are needed. When it comes to moonlight branches, the older, the better. For all types of gemstones, the higher the quality, the better. In short, there's no limit to expense, only higher levels of expense, everything must be of the best quality. Shaya Longnis also thought this perspective had some merit. To craft the best body for her daughter, using the finest materials to create a flawless physique is essential. Fortunately, according to her intelligence, the warehouse in the Eastern God's domain, the Sky Tower, had many suitable materials for puppet making, including the main material moonlight branches, supposedly gifts offered by fairies to the Queen Mother of the West. Even she found it almost impossible to sneak into the Fairy King's court, where the mythical fairy resided. The Endless God's domain had very strict security, and there was no place for creatures like slimes, making it one of the most heavily guarded forbidden areas. On the other hand, the warehouse of the Sky Tower was different. Being the Sky Sword of the Sky Sword God's domain, she had special privileges in the Sky Tower guarded by Lilibet. Taking advantage of her identity as the Sky Sword, she sneaked into the warehouse area of the Sky Tower while Lilibet wasn't paying attention and stole about half of the offerings to the Queen Mother of the West, especially the precious materials used to make high-quality puppets, which were almost completely wiped out. She also stole some materials that she thought might be useful and then escaped. Everything was going smoothly until Lilibet discovered something suspicious and aggressively pursued her, determined not to let her escape. It was a dreadful time for her. As powerful as the child of God of the slime race with the ability to constantly regenerate, she was being relentlessly hunted down by Lilibet. If she had been any other Sky Sword, her true form would have collapsed and she would have entered a dormant state early without spending thousands of years to return. Translated by Gravity Tales. Lilibet's special sword can judge evil actions, so when Shaya Longnis stole half of the Queen of the West's gift, she was definitely considered guilty. Even though Shaya Longnis left behind world tree leaves in the warehouse worth almost the same value, showing she didn't take without permission. So, I did actually pay for it. Queen of the West probably won't mind too much. After explaining why she stole from the Sky Tower warehouse, Shaya Longnis looked upset. The Lord of Kunlun God's domain didn't really care about this matter. Why are you so upset, Lilibet, chasing after her to the ends of the earth, even unable to stop her pursuit at the Red Heart Queen's ball? The Fairy Clan's gift to the Queen of the West is meant for exchanging certain special resources from Kunlun God's domain. The Queen of the West didn't pay much attention to these gifts, keeping them in the Sky Tower warehouse, which implies these gifts aren't that valuable to Kunlun God's domain either. At least, they couldn't compare to the desperate love of Shaya Longnis. I understand. striving for something important, in a very admirable way. Saint Demon expressed understanding towards Shaya Longnis's actions. For some people, certain things are just decorative gifts, but for those who need them, they may be more important than life itself. In this world, inequality is mostly like that. The goals you strive for throughout your life are just starting points set at birth for many people. Even someone like Shaya Longnis, who is the Sky Sword, worked very hard to help her beloved daughter gain a body. At this time, pursuing Shaya Longnis relentlessly like Lilibet, who was duty-bound to do so, seemed somewhat harsh. Of course, it's not to say that she was wrong, it's just that both sides have different perspectives, leading to different conclusions. I stand by your side. Is there anything you need help with? Saint Demon cleverly approached Shaya Longnis step by step. Capitalizing on the soft and easily influenced parts of human nature, making oneself indispensable to someone is what Saint Demon and her group excel at. Different from the enchantresses, who use their relationships to influence others for their own gain, gaining leverage in crucial situations. Saint Demon is the opposite. She uses relationships to help others sincerely and genuinely. It shows in her actions that she truly means it. Saint Demon doesn't need others to do things for her or benefit from them. She cares about what place she holds in their hearts. When Saint Demon passes away, it will cause a big stir in the river of fate, leaving a deep mark on the hearts of those she influenced. Sometimes, these emotional marks hurt more than physical wounds and cannot be healed. Even if someone later shows 10 or 100 times more tenderness and love than Saint Demon did, they can't replace the spot Saint Demon holds in their heart. Because no one can defeat the deceased. Sacrifices made in youth, with a bright future ahead, are often forgiven, despite past mistakes and flaws. People forget the bad about her and only remember her sacrifice and brilliance, even elevating her virtues to a saintly level. The dead cannot speak, nor do they have any need for disputes or conflicts. Even those who were enemies with Saint Demon would not say anything negative about someone who has passed away. In a way, the Saint Demon who sacrificed herself is considered a better Saint Demon than the one who is alive, as her sacrifice has a greater impact. Keeping their virtues till the end of their lives is the path chosen by the Saint Demons. If someone holds on to a lie their whole life and sacrifices themselves based on that lie, then no one will doubt it's a lie. Great Saint Demons are all serious deceivers until the end. Chapter 1355. The false and serious sacredness being sincere to others. Truly caring for others. Not caring about power and wealth, living a humble life and staying calm at all times. Such a girl is seen by others as the most suitable to become a saint, priestess, or messenger of the gods, the chosen vessel by Saint Demon. Under the seemingly perfect shell, hides the scent of death that has long been destined. Pure and beautiful like fragile glass that can easily break with a little force. Beneath the virtues that everyone admires, lies the body of a young girl who is nearing death or even close to dying. No one would doubt that a saint like her would lie or deceive others, because there seems to be no advantage in doing so. The ambitious always believe that all conflicts stem from self-interest. What puzzles the ambitious is that they cannot find any benefit for the saint in her actions. The enchantress, who brings trouble to the world, suits the ambitions of many. Some even choose to cooperate with the enchantress to bring about a great upheaval. For humans, every disaster leads to countless deaths, families torn apart, and everything fading away. But for the ambitious, the time of disaster is when they thrive. In times of chaos, where there is turmoil, that's when the ambitious shine. Translated by Gravity Tales? For these ambitious individuals, the seemingly flawless saint is the thorn in their side that they must get rid of. Similarly, for the saint embodied by Saint Demon, this era is also the best opportunity to change destiny. Because Saint Demon seeks not the extravagant life of the enchantress, but to bring death and scars to countless people. The ambitious ones cannot understand Saint Demon's actions because they cannot comprehend Saint Demon's concepts of life and death. For the living humans, death is the end of everything, the destruction of all things. But for Saint Demon, death is actually the most brilliant moment, everything in life, actions, are all preparations for this moment of death. Enchantresses pursue a happy life, always full of ambiguity, disrupting the world with their charm. Saint Demon strives for a great death, impacting those around her with her sacrifices, changing the chaotic world. So, no one doubts Saint Demon's intentions. Even the deities who bless Saint Demon will mourn her death, let alone the mortals and heroes favored by Saint Demon. Both heavenly demon, Enchantress is like a deadly tempting scent of a hellish mandrake, while Saint Demon is like a pure lotus untainted by mud. They are both negative embodiments of human emotions and thoughts. Enchantress leaves behind a lifetime of infamy, carrying the curses of many, while Saint Demon is remembered for generations, with people still singing their names thousands of years later. Indulging in capricious and pleasant ways. A false yet earnest sense of holiness. This is Enchantress and Saint Demon, heavenly demons originating from the same source but with completely different fates. The only similarity is that they understand human hearts, but they intervene, influence, and use this power in different ways. Naturally, Enchantress is better suited for a decadent being like Ouroboros. The aloof cyber elf alpha is the type Saint Demon prefers. The strange and self-important Shaya Longnis is also to Saint Demon's liking. Using White Moon as a breakthrough, Saint Demon quickly discovered the weakness of the sky sword Shaya Longnis, which even the Enchantress couldn't do. Of course, this was thanks to Uneasy creating White Moon, otherwise this weakness wouldn't have existed in Shaya Longnis. Once a queen high up, once fascinated by something, is no longer an unreachable figure. I think. Besides the materials used to make White Moon's own desires are also very important. Following Shaya Longnis's lead, Saint Demon started to make her move. Enchantresses like to charm bold and fearless men, Saint Demon's range of influence widened. From toddlers who can barely walk to elderly nearing their 70s, Saint Demon could approach them all. Her sacred and untouchable identity as a saint and messenger of the gods was really handy. Even characters close to queen status that enchantresses find difficult to deal with, Saint Demon and company have their bestie strategy. Lying and deceiving in the name of God is Saint Demon's specialty. Yeah, but the White Moon child just keeps asking for one thing, and I can't conjure it up for her. Shaya Longnis looked troubled as she said this. What does she want? Saint Demon pondered, thinking that young girls usually want fancy jewelry, dresses, or maybe weapons if they are more assertive. She wants her dad. Shaya Longnis sighed. This thing was the only one she had no clue about, even more difficult than stealing the offerings of the Queen Mother countless times. Ah! Saint Demon froze, realizing that White Moon's dad was actually their master, wasn't he? Always demanding to marry her dad or something, this request is really impossible. Even if it was me, finding a prince from a dream has no clues either. That dream realm, even Shaya Longnis found it unbelievable, especially the information about White Moon's dad seemed to have been erased by some force. All she managed to retain in the end were the design and materials list for White Moon's puppet body. Until now, she still doesn't know why she had that dream and brought White Moon out of the dream. One thing is certain, White Moon is her daughter, the most adorable daughter in the world. This is the truth of the universe, a miracle bestowed upon her by the world. The Queen of Assyria. The child of God from the Slime clan. The Sky Sword in the domain of Sky Sword God. The archenemy of Hydera the water god. All her personalities cheered and rejoiced because of White Moon's arrival. The feeling of being connected by bloodlines is absolutely correct. This child belongs to Shaya Longnis. What if, just what if that prince came into the real world, like right here on this stage, right in front of you, and proposed to you, how would you feel? The lie that is not a lie. Faced with the big issue left by Uneasy, Saint Demon decisively proposed. This is the moment, this is the opportunity, there is no better time for strategy than now. Oh, let me think if that shameless jerk is really here. Shaya Longnis glanced at the expressionless face of the faceless god, of course not associating that face with the somewhat handsome prince in her dream. Chapter 1356, Shaya's Confession. I will do it. Shaya Longnis's eyes were serious, filled with a kind of fierce determination. Stepping down from her own giant foolish spider throne. Every step was filled with a different feeling. Grinding teeth in hatred, a raw feeling of resentment for having something important taken away. Reluctant to let go, longing for beautiful memories, reliving the warm moments in time. Full of anticipation, nervously excited, unable to resist. Fierce and intense, yes, it was a fierce energy, a sharp and intense one. Saint Demon saw for the first time that within these few steps, someone could display such a variety of complex expressions. Translated by Gravity Tales? Why do you still have to appear before me? Shaya Longnis reached out her small hand and gently stroked the neck of the faceless god. Danger, danger, Saint Demon's intuition told her that Shaya Longnis was now at a level of red alert. This seemingly gentle hand could break the neck of the faceless god at any moment. Left me and White Moon behind, I wonder where he ran off to. Just showing up now, what do you think of us? White Moon keeps asking for you every day. You're incorrigible, a big liar. With those words, Shaya Longnis's expression turned fierce, her eyes glaring like sharp blades cutting through the faceless god's neck. I want to be with you guys. This is not the time to give up, never can admit to those inexplicable things. No matter how justified, cannot say it at this moment. For the irrational queen, a proper strategy is needed. I like you, Shaya. Saint Demon played her trump card. Shaya, and White Moon too. HMPH. You are unreliable, shameless deceiver. Shaya Longnis's eyes softened a bit. I like you is like a love spell, especially for two people who already have a strong bond. This love spell is worth more than 1,000 words. Talk about saving the world, sacrificing for someone, none of that matters to a love-struck girl. She wants you to place her above the whole world, to occupy the most important place in your heart. The world and her. Justice and her. Both choose her. This is an absolutely cannot go wrong multiple choice question. If it wasn't for White Moon, I wouldn't even look at you. Staring fiercely at the faceless god, Shaya Longnis imagines this expressionless silver-white face as her prince. Very strange, there is a hint of a familiar taste, as if the prince who only appeared in her dreams was really in front of her. Although their size, gender, and race were completely different, there was a sense of recognition. So, at this moment, it's time to speak out and express the anger in her heart. You are the worst prince in the world, daring to marry the apostle of the old god, and also planning to marry her daughter at the same time. I don't care about your past burdens, or your status. From now on, I need you to take up this responsibility. You created White Moon, gave her life and soul, so you must take good care of her. Every hair, every inch of skin of White Moon is our treasure. You must help me raise White Moon to become the loveliest princess in the world. In that case, I can accept you and be with you. If you can't do that, no matter where you hide in endless God's domain, I, Shaya Longnis, will chase you to the ends of the world. Instead of sweet words between lovers, this feels more like a curse. This is Shaya Longnis being not honest, confessing to the prince who gave her the White Moon. Master, you're in trouble. But I guess this counts as completing the task. Saint Demon held Shaya Longnis's hand, and while the other was still lost in her own confession, she lightly kissed her cheek. Mission accomplish. As for what happens next, it's not her concern anymore. Master, you caused trouble, you'll have to figure out how to solve it on your own. When She came to his senses, he found himself sitting on the throne of the giant foolish spider. In her embrace, was the familiar queen of Assyria, no, the maiden body of Shaya Longnis. Thank you, I suddenly feel like it's nice to relax occasionally, so let me take a rest. Shaya Longnis stretched her body and lay down on the faceless god's lap. A long-lost knee pillow, with a hint of nostalgia. Why is it that although she met the legend-rank deity for the first time, it didn't emit the aura she disliked like other deities? In a daze, she felt like this scene had appeared before. She lowered his head and looked at Shaya Longnis's sleeping, snow-white face. Of course, this wasn't the first time. During the trial of the primitive dragon, he married the queen of Assyria and spent a brief moment with White Moon. They always acted together. During tea time, after enjoying delicious bread and pastries, they would lean in his embrace like this, enjoying their own knee pillow time together. Usually, White Moon was on the left, the Queen of Assyria on the right. Both of them would naturally take their positions and sweetly sleep on his lap. Looking back now, that was the most comfortable and pleasant time during the primitive dragon's trial. It's a lie. She still remembers how, after becoming the king of that world, the queens would sometimes fight and sometimes have tea together in the royal court. It was a lie he told to the whole world. Even though it was a lie, it felt happy and sweet. The first queen, the Queen of Assyria. The second queen, White Moon. The third queen, Desert Dragon Zaka. The fourth queen, Ice Dragon Zaka. And the girls from the Starwings Knights who were engaged to the prince. Just like right now, there was no fighting, just peaceful and warm time. Sorry for not telling you the truth. Brushing past Shaya Longnis's hair, the dangerously ancient god spokesperson, Slime Sky Sword, softened in Yunshi's eyes. It was the time spent by the young king and queen, traces of their past love. Even as the dream ended and the world where they made a marriage vow fell apart, the lies ended at the moment the world ended, but these memories wouldn't disappear. Whether it's 1,000 years or 10,000 years, only this memory remains like eternal pebbles in the river of time, shining with the light symbolizing happiness. Chapter 1357, Flora's Uneasy Premonition. In the void, the 12 nightmare sovereigns were already boiling. Ever since the Red Heart Queen's masquerade began, they had never seen such strange occurrences, or rather incredible miracles. The first time a prince character joined the Red Heart Queen's masquerade, creating a miracle that excited all the judges immensely. Oh, it worked this time too? Unbelievable. This is Shaya Longnis, famous for her twisted personality as the Sky Sword. Even the monsters in the Sky Sword can be defeated. Who is this prince really? Where did Ada find this prince? It's just. The nightmare sovereigns were not easily surprised. As terrifying beings born from human nightmares, they had seen countless strange landscapes. Yet, the events that unfolded at the Red Heart Queen's masquerade were truly extraordinary. The faceless god who played the prince confessed to 5 legendary beings in a row, and all were successful. These were the ladies who scored high in the first round of performances, except for Ouroboros. Followers of ancient gods, undefeated champions of the Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts Tournament, protected by primordial beings, the young fantasy species, the special new generation of gods, skilled in divining fate among mysterious fantasy beings. In this world, there was someone who could launch attacks against all 5 legendary beings and win against them. Unbelievable, truly unbelievable. And the legend continues. Next up is Lilibet. This is impossible. Lilibet will not be swayed. That's Lilibet, the Azure Excalibur wielder, one of our adversaries. In the entire second round, only Lilibet remained. Great Witch Flora hadn't appeared yet, but due to her special relationship with Red Heart Queen's masquerade, she would definitely be the final main character to make an appearance. However, this time, someone stole the spotlight even more than Flora. This was the prince from the first round, who was overlooked by the 12 nightmare sovereigns and unleashed an incredible power in the second round. The 12 nightmare sovereigns' judges were eagerly watching as Azure Excalibur prepared to grace the stage. Compared to Flora, this individual may be the most formidable fortress in the second round, an unbeatable iceberg. She is very stubborn and aloof. Even in the renowned Sky Sword, the guardian of the Sky Tower, Lilibet has defended the Sky Tower from the twilight of the gods until now, defeating numerous invaders, making her truly unique. In the ancient Sky Sword of the Sky Sword god's domain, Lilibet is the holder of the orderly divine sword and the guardian of the Sky Tower. Love seems to have nothing to do with her. The 12 nightmare sovereigns all believed that this prince was going to fail this time. Lilibet's nature is completely different from everyone else. She is the object of desire for the nightmare sovereigns, possessing an entire soul gold sand from Gold Coast, yet she is also the archenemy of nightmare creatures. That ice-blue orderly divine sword poses a huge threat to all guilty beings. You are all taking advantage of your seniors. Don't any of you know what it means to be a lady? Flora watched as 5 consecutive contestants appeared on stage, and felt angry as Uneasy conquered the legendary rank in different ways, as if his bread had been eaten by someone else. Her fingers are very comfortable, and the wine tastes really good. This was a decadent response from Ouroboros. She had no immunity to lovely young girls and fine wine. She is very good at chess, quite impressive. Cyber Elf Alpha accelerated her reviewing, pondering on the great whirlpool tactic she had just learned, while answering earnestly. I think she is pretty good, Flora, you have a good eye. Cassina the battle god, who knew the truth, looked at Flora with a twinkle in her eyes. It seemed like Dusk which took a liking to their disciple. If this happened, she would be able to use Flora's connections to travel to other areas in the Endless God's domain in the future. My sister is very good at talking, has a really pleasant voice, and teaches many things that are not taught in textbooks. I really like my sister. The Golden Crow Princess was not afraid of the pressure from the story, as she had the protection of her mother, the Queen Mother of the West, so she could say whatever she wanted. Her lap was very comfortable and kind to children. She was a good friend. Even the quirky Shaya Longnis had high praise for the faceless god, or rather, she was very satisfied. It's because the seniors are so good that they follow your lead in the performance. It's just for the sake of the performance. Seniors are not the kind of people who would confess easily. Flora gnashed her teeth as she looked disapprovingly at the 5 who were taking advantage of the situation. It's definitely true, there is only one truth. Just like her senior, she too is performing, just to meet the requirements of the Red Heart Queen's masquerade stage. Her seniors are not so fickle. Yes, it's all acting. Judging by the constantly changing way her senior performs, it's just a false personality that only appears on stage, completely different from the seniors she truly interacts with. The most outstanding actors can achieve such miracles. No matter what role they play, they do it convincingly, without any flaws. When facing Ouroboros, the elder put on a gentle and captivating appearance. While playing chess with Cyber Elf Alpha, the elder was a wise strategist. Confronting the dominant player in the Battle Gods Grand Martial Arts Tournament, the elder fought evenly with her. When getting close to the Golden Crow Princess, the elder was full of love and acceptance. Just now, the conversation with Shaya Longnis was like listening to a saint who hears people's troubles. This kind of versatile role-switching is truly impressive for her elder, surely a godlike being highly skilled in art performances, as seen from her flawless acting. Anyway, they were all fake. The elder never fell for any of them, not even one. Only when strolling with her on the ruins ground, that was when she touched the most authentic side of her elder. Translated by Gravity Tales. Gentle and warm, quiet and kind, and very, very reliable. This kind of senior is the true senior she knows, not some performance on stage. It must be like this, only the senior in front of her is the real senior. What others see is just a performance art. The beam of light descends, and the participant for the second-to-last round of the Red Heart Queen's masquerade is selected. At this moment, for some reason, a warning bell rings loudly in Flora's heart. On stage, Uneasy takes over the body of the faceless god without any intention of summoning the heavenly demon. Because, the person appearing in front of him this time is a very special person to Uneasy. Chapter 1358, Nervous Uneasy clatter, splash, splash. On the golden coastline, Uneasy once again saw the figure that haunted his dreams. No matter when, her figure standing between the sea and sky remained steadfast as always. The gentle breeze made the 3 strands of ice-blue hair sway lightly, like a timeless beacon in this world. Lilibet, the blue sword goddess, guardian of the sky tower, the oldest sky sword in the sky sword god's domain, and also, Uneasy's dream lover, his first love. What does it feel like to confess to your first love? Translated by Gravity Tales. Uneasy used to think it was very sweet, full of dreams, like a miraculous scene. Now he knows that was a big mistake. Unlike Hua Hua, he knows very little about Lilibet. What kind of food does she like? What kind of swordsmanship is she good at? What is her ideal future? What requirements does she have for her future partner? Why has he been guarding the Sky Tower and becoming the Order Guardian of the Sky Sword God's domain? Compared to Hua Hua, Lilibet has more mysteries surrounding her. Unlike Hua Hua, who is familiar with everything from height to measurements, Lilibet and him are very unfamiliar with each other. In his dreams, he transforms into a wandering spirit, repeatedly being slain by Lilibet's azure Excalibur on the Gold Coast. The thick layer of soul gold sand on the ground, it is unclear how much of it belongs to him after being killed. Boom. 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 Despite being hidden inside the faceless god, Yunshi's heart couldn't help but race uncontrollably. Cheeks flushed. Confused. Don't talk about Enchantress and Saint Demon's confession skills that win people's hearts. Now she can hardly say a word. On the other hand, Lilibet, who is not interested in the Red Heart Queen's masquerade this time, stood between the sea and the sky as usual, in the posture of the guardian of the Sky Tower. Behind her was the door leading to the Sky Tower. In front of her was the silent ice-blue divine sword stuck in the soul gold sand. This posture has become a lonely and noble sight along the Gold Coast, a picturesque view. For a moment, the faceless god hesitated to move forward, the motionless Lilibet, and the quiet Gold Coast with only the waves moving, all seemed like a beautiful painting. In the void, seeing the stunned faceless god, the 12 nightmare sovereigns breathed a sigh of relief. Indeed, Lilibet is the most impregnable fortress. This time, even the prince couldn't do anything about it. But even though this confession failed, the prince's performance was still outstanding. Ah, so much soul gold sand, I really want to lick it. Under the stage, the other participants had different opinions. Lilibet is still as silly as ever. Ouroboros, who was drunk, collapsed in the chair with snow-white naked long legs propped up, faintly revealing the wonderful scenery under the nightgown. It's rare to see her leave the Sky Tower. What did Shaya Longnis do to provoke such anger? Cassina the battle god was very curious about Lilibet's reasons for chasing Shaya Longnis. Since the records of the Sky Sword God's domain, the guardian of the Sky Tower Lilibet has rarely left her post, and each time had a significant impact on the entire Sky Sword God's domain and even the Eastern God's domain. Being chased by Lilibet, Shaya Longnis must have done something extraordinary. That big sister is so cool, should I change my hairstyle too? The Golden Crow Princess touched her own little head, feeling very envious of Lilibet's cool 3 locks of hair. Calculate, analyze, and try again 3,000 times. Cyber Elf Alpha was completely absorbed in the game she just played with the 3-eyed Holy Maiden, focusing only on the starry sky chess. Shaya Longnis, getting into trouble with Lilibet, looked around and took advantage of Lilibet's absence to prepare for their escape. There was no way to defeat Lilibet in a fight. The monster naturally had the upper hand against her, and as long as she was marked by the Seal of Order, she would eventually be caught and killed by Lilibet unless she fled to the unknown star domain without even a star bridge. No kidding, she still needed to return the stolen offerings of the Western Queen Mother to the Doll City. There wasn't enough time to play a deadly game of hide-and-seek with Lilibet. Shaya, you are being hunted by Lilibet, she will never let you go, right? As Shaya Longnis planned her escape route, the voice of the Great Witch Flora echoed in her ears once again. Yes, I don't know what got into her, even leaving her post as the guardian of the Sky Tower temporarily to come after me. Very well, this makes things easier. Let's team up and ambush her. Perfect, I know a place where all forces of order are completely suppressed. After the Red Heart Queen's masquerade is over, listen for my secret signal. I will take you away, and we will solve this problem once and for all. Flora looked at Lilibet on stage with a fierce determination, forming an assassination alliance with Shaya Longnis against Lilibet. No problem. You also don't like Lilibet? Shaya Longnis asked, feeling puzzled. I didn't know her before, but starting today, she is my enemy. The reason for this hostility towards Lilibet was not simple at all. Flora realized that the senior she admired was being too serious only when facing Lilibet. It went beyond acting, it seemed like genuine emotions were involved. Both had a poker face, but only when Lilibet appeared, the senior's eyes showed great tension. It was something that only happened around Lilibet, making Flora extremely anxious as if something important was about to be taken away. Senior, this can't be true. Even though you used to know Lilibet, she clearly doesn't remember you at all now. Look at that proud and unfriendly face, not respecting elders at all, even with the wealth of an entire coast of soul gold sand. This is not worth loving at all, living in their own world, destined to be alone forever, the ancient sky sword. Elder, there are still those who genuinely like you here, they would never look at you so coldly, they're a witch who will melt you. Whether it's the face, the chest, or the figure, she is more suitable for you than this cold and puppet-like swordmaster. Quickly turn back. Turning back is happiness, Elder. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.